Vibes. Yes, family, large up yourself, big up yourself. Your host, Selah, Shalom in the building. Yes, family, big up yourself. I see you chiming in under the place, yeah? It's a vibes. Selah Shalom TV, according to the text, as it is written. Big up, large up yourself, family. You know why? Cause it's a vibes. It's the vibes. Yes, family. Large up yourself. Big up yourself. It's yours, the one and only, the truly, the Selah Shalom in the building. Big up to the righteous goddesses and gods, Nervinian goddesses, Nervinian gods. Big up, large up yourself, big up yourself. You dig? Who chimed in? Global Purpose, I see you. Shine, I see you. Eric Hamilton, peace, King. Lizelle, I see you. Keon, Trinidad in the building. Where you say? Where's his history? Uriah Dread Nazar. Where you say, big man? Big up yourself. Danny Messiah, large up yourself. Cause it's a vibes. Yes, family, make sure to press that like when you enter in. As we thoroughly begin, cause it's a vibes. It's a vibes. Yes, family, large up yourself. Big up yourself. Shout out to the fam. You know what I mean? Shout out to Malachi Maccabee, winner and only you went in. You know what I mean? We bringing this information out about these goddamn calendars, yo. We breaking the God spell while we showing at the same time people under the God spell. You dig? Your camera twitching, Selah. Yeah, I be seeing that, yo. You know what I mean? Them electromagnetic frequencies and shit. Your boy be tapping in. The locks be messing up the electromagnetic spectrum and shit. Who calling me, yo? Ooh. Yo, Bronze, I see you calling. What's good, fam? Shalom, Ma. What's good, King? Hold up. What you say? Say it again, King.
Your camera's twitching.
Oh, word is still twitching now?
I can't tell because I'm still on the phone.
All right, I'm looking at it. It seems like it's stopped for now. But that's, you know what I mean? That's that positive force currency flowing through, you know what I mean? Disturbing the electromagnetic spectrum, you dig?
Yeah, right on, dog.
All right, well, shit, man. Let me go ahead and get busy. Let me see. If it keep thinking, just hit me in the chat.
All right.
All right, King. Yes, family. Give me 1 second, fam. Let me just get this off the stove real quick. Yes, family, I'm back at it. Gotta take the stove off, you know, there it go. Yeah, yo. So where we at with it? Shalom to the fam. We breaking the God spell. Part 3 of the God spell. We're gonna keep going with the God spell. You know what I mean? Shout out to Malachi Maccabee. Touched on a God spell today, talking about the calendar. You know what I mean? That's one thing I noticed that the brews don't really touch on much, is that calendar. They'll talk about Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, the gathering of in fruit and all that or whatever. But they ain't talking about when did things create. What is the actual date of creation? Hold up. Yeah, like what's the actual date? And as we did the knowledge on yesterday, we found out that, damn, this shit don't go back to 3761 as you know what I mean, Malachi brought out, I brought out, Calpia more likely gonna bring it out. So, you know, I created a quick little chart talking about the calendar. I put it in perspective to show where the calendar that they said starts the cosmos, where it's placed in the Arc-Cycle. So what I did here, hold up. So what I did here, right? Let me show my chart, my screen. Now, as you see here, what you're looking at is the 23rd arc cycle after the creation of man. That arc cycle lasted 2,400 years, called the Arc of Spita, right? So the arc cycle started from 3953 BC to 1553 BC. If you add up 1553 BC plus 2,400 years, it's going to give you 3953 BC, showing you that the math adds up. But according to the Hebrew calendar, it says the start of the Hebrew calendar creation of the cosmos started in 3761 BC. So that's what I did. I said, all right, if that's the case, 3761 BC fits in the 23rd arc cycle. So now, this is supposedly when the 7-day creation took place. Now, what is the time period from the creation or from the time of Adam to Noah? We kind of found out that it's 1,656 years. That's what they place it as, from Adam to Noah. And that brings us to what? 2106, right here. So from the time of Adam to the time of Noah is from 3761 BC to 2106 BC. That time period covers the 7-day creation story, the Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden with the serpent, the genealogy of Cain and Seth, All that took place during this time period, in that block. Huh? So Adam and Eve and the descendants of Cain and Abel, or Cain and Seth, was during this time. And then what we have from the time of Noah to Abraham is 422 years. And that'll place Abraham at 1684 BC. That's off. But this is the genealogy and the timeline that was given to us from the Hebrew calendar. But this fits inside the 23rd arc cycle. Let me show you something real quick. Watch this, hold on. Let me bring up the other arc. Let me bring this in. Boom. Alright, hold on. Where we at with it? Well, let me put this in perspective. So what I'm showing you is what we considered the creation. Man, if I ain't had the Oahspe and had to deal with this shit, oh man, this shit wouldn't be easy. All right, so check it. Let me, I'm putting this in perspective. So when I play it, it could just go through. So, let's see, hold up. Yes, family, it's going down. Let me just number it then. So yeah, we're gonna go in on this calendar, yo. We ain't letting this shit slide. We don't let shit slide. We don't let shit ride. We question everything. We challenge everything. That's how you sharp. That's why I respect the 5%ers when they be sharpening iron. They challenge themselves in the doctrine. That's the only way they can make themselves approved. Make themselves worthy by challenging the text. If you're scared to challenge the text, then shit, you don't need to be on the battlefield. All right, so check it. Now, let me come back to the screen. All right, so this is what we got going on. So what you see above is the Oahspe's times table of prophecy, giving us the real genealogy from the creation of man to the first era of civilization to the time of the flood to our present time. Now, according to the Hebrew calendar, the creation, like I said, was 3761 BC. 3761 BC placed us in the 23rd arc cycle. So what I did is I took the 23rd arc cycle and expanded it and stretched it out. So from the Oahspe, this is 23 arc cycles after the creation of man that the Hebrew calendar starts creation. The Hebrew calendar starts creation 23 arc cycles after. Let me do the math on this real quick. Hold on. Using the basis of 3,000 years. Hold up. Yeah, this ain't looking good, man. This ain't looking good for you, Bruise. So, all right, so 3,000, say times 22. So you're talking 66,000 years after the creation of man is when the Hebrew creation came about. Because this is the 23rd arc cycle. This is during the time of the 23rd arc cycle. So you got 22 arc cycles of 3,000 years. So 22 times 3 is 66. So that's 66,000 years from the creation of man to the 23rd arc cycle, but that begins your creation story. You want one? Go ahead. See if it's open. Do it quick before Grandma see. So yeah, there you have it. So this is what you see, and this is the 23rd arc cycle stretched out. So the 23rd arc cycle is 2953 BC to 1553 BC, right? So now as we go into the arc cycle, bam, now this is the arc cycle, we in it. This is what I was showing earlier. So from the start of the Hebrew calendar, creation of the cosmos, time of Adam to Noah is 1,656 years. No, I don't know how they came up with that, but that's the years they came up with. Because if Adam lived goddamn 900 and some of these other niggas was living 600, 700 years, that's going to put the time period way before 1,656 years. But I'm going to go by what they talking about. And then from the time of the flood, so 2106 BC was the time of the flood. That's the time Moses, that's the time of the beginning. That's right at the ending of the Middle Kingdom. The ending of the Middle Kingdom of Egypt. Let me see. Middle Kingdom of Egypt. What's this? No, not the Middle Kingdom, the Old Kingdom. Watch the Old Kingdom of Egypt. Let's see what the time period of the Old Kingdom of Egypt is. And this is historically speaking. Look what it say right here. The Old Kingdom of Egypt is what? 2700 BC to 2200 BC. 2700 to 22 BC. See that? That's the Old Kingdom. So now, the whole Middle Kingdom fits this time period. 2700 BC to 2200, right here. This would be right up in here. So the time of Noah would have been during the Old Kingdom of Egypt. It wasn't no Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth walking around 2700 BC, but this is the time period they gave you. Now, what else to say here? The time of Noah from the flood to the time of Abraham. Now, the time of Abraham is 1684 BC. That's another conflict. That's another conflict. The 23rd Arc-Cycle starts out with Abraham Bruckner, Hiawatha. That's way over here. So the calendar is off. Now I'm going to show you the calendar with history placed in it based off the Oahspe's timeline and showing you this Hebraic timeline. So now you see what? I added in some of the historical timeline and some of the Oahspe joints. So now, if you look at the bottom, it says 3953 BC, and then it says 200 years, 3753 BC. The first 200 years of every cycle is under the authority of the Etherian angels, and then it's left into the hands of the atmospheric angels after they leave. But this 200-year period from 3953 BC to 3753 BC is reflected in the book of Wars Against Jehovah, where it states right here, let me get it. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Yeah. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 5. Let me see if I can get that. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 5. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 5. Let's get it. That's that 200 years. Book of Jehovah, chapter 5, verse 2. 3 great people sprang within 200 years. See that 200 years right there? That 200 years right there is reflective of this 200 years right here. Right here. That's what this is the time period that the Oahspe is referring to in the Book of Jehovah, chapter 5, verse 2, when it talks about that 200-year period. It's talking about from 3953 BC, 4th millennium BC, to 3753 BC. It was raining peace on earth. This is prior to Narmer. See, look at Narmer. Narmer is 3200 BC. This is before Narmer. So let's go back and see what it says about what took place from 3953 BC to 3753 BC. It states, 3 great people sprang upon the earth within 200 years. In Japheth, in India, and in Arabino, Africa. Japheth is Asia, China. And the 4th great people who overspread Hellas in every quarter. And the kings of Hellas were sending migrants or immigrants by the thousands and thousands into Europe. So niggas was going into Europe the first 200 years of the millennium. 4th millennium BC coming into 3700 BC, they was running up in Europe. In Hellas, they was running up. The copper colored people was running up over there. That was going on the first 200 years. So that's why I got the 200 years. And then the next time period. Now look, within the first 200 years is when the creation cosmos supposed to came on the scene. So from 3953 BC to 3761 BC, that's within the 200-year period that was reigning peace on earth during the first 200 years of the Arc-Cycle. But this is supposed to be the creation of the cosmos according to the Hebrew calendar. Now when you look at 3753 BC, in that brackets, it says Ajah darkness, and then it says 400 years. This is the time period Oahspe rose up. Oahspe started to rise up and stray away around 3753 BC after that 200 year of peace. And then the proof of that is in the book of let me get that. Where Jah put the test on him. That's in chapter 8, starting from verse 2. Let me get that. Let me get that, family. So when it says Ajah in darkness right here and it says 400 years, let me read that from the Oahspe to know where you at. You dig? So here, this is where it starts. What it say? It's talking about Anu. But look what it say. Look what Jehovah's the one who put the test out. Jehovah's the one why these false gods became false gods, because they didn't master the elements. Jehovah spoke to God, true God, in Creation, saying, true God, his heavenly place, saying, behold, I have given great light to the earth and her heavens, hundreds of years, and my gods and lords are becoming conceited in their own power. This is the reason why Jah put these niggas to the test. Why? Because they becoming conceited in their own power and wisdom. See that? So Jah seeing this and like, all right, y'all think you got your noses tooted up? I'm going to put you to the test. So it says, my lords and gods are becoming conceited in their own wisdom, to rule in heaven, to rule in heavenly places. Now look what Jah say. Now will I try them. Now will I try them for a season by sending them AJ in darkness. See that? AJ in darkness. He's about to try them for a season of AJ in darkness. For my gods and lords must learn to master the elements I have created in the firmament. See that? So Jah is about to try them for a season. What is a season? How many years is a season? Let me get that right quick. Just be patient with the God. Let me get that. Precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Let me show you how many years is a season. We're going to find that in the book of Osar. In the book of Osiris, what chapter is this? Book of Osiris, chapter 5. All right, hold up. Book of Osiris, chapter 5. Let me get that. Book of Osiris, chapter 5. Let me show you something. Let me show you what a season is, based off the Oahspe.
Papa, what mosquito get to me?
Mosquito get you? You gotta be careful out there, baby, so he don't get you.
Okay, but what can they do to me?
You'll be okay. It'll go away. You gotta be strong.
Okay, but what?
Yeah, that's part of being outside, baby. You don't get beat up and ate up by mosquitoes. You'll be all right. Now go on from these parts, little you then. Hello. Oh, 6 is chapter 6 in the Book of Wars. I mean in Osiris. All right, so chapter 20, Osiris chapter 21. Now I'm going to break. The reason I'm coming here is because I'm trying to show you what a season. Because Jehovah says, now will I try them for a season. And I'm going to show you what a season is. So we'll be on the same page as far as years. Times and half times have I given to my corporeal worlds in their heavens. And in a time have I made a full resurrection to those who aspire to my heavens above. Nor do I go away from any place I created, saying, go thou alone. Go thou alone for a season. See, a season? But in time I manifest a new light, for such also are my creation. Think not I give seasons to corporeal worlds only. I give seasons to atmospherian worlds too. Now here's the catcher, verse 21. Is not summer on earth a half time, and winter a half time, and the two one full time? So created I for atmospheria a time of 400 years. There go a season. A season is 400 years. And half of a season, or half a time, is 200 years. See that? So a season is 400 years. And then it says, created hour one Dani. So again, let me read that verse again. Is not a summer on earth at halftime, and the winter half a time, and the two half one full time? So created I for atmospheria a time of 400 years, and a half time of 200 years, and 7 times and 1/2 created out one Dani. So a time is 400 years. So when Jaja say right here, now will I try them for a season, it's basically saying, now will I try them for 400 years by sending Aegean darkness, Aegean darkness. And then when we look back on the chart here, that's this time period. 3753 BC to 3353 BC is the 400-year time period of the Aegean darkness. And this is the time period that Ahuru rose to power, or started the beginning to rise. Around 3753 BC is when he started thinking about it, and 400 years later, he got them in full sway, because it took him 400 years to become a lord. Remember, to be a lord god is 400-year period. So by the ending of the 400-year period, 3353 BC, shit, he lord. And this is during the time of the Battle of 1,000 Years. Now, when you look at Narmer, 3200 BC, Narmer is the first ruler of the Old Kingdom. Now, keep in mind, all this is going on when this is supposed to be the time of Adam in the Bible. Because look at the calendar on the top. It says from Adam to Noah. So what's going on by the time Narmer roll around, nigga, it should be the descendants of Seth and the descendants of Cain genealogy running around populating the earth. According to the Bible's genealogy, this is supposed to be before Narmer. This is supposed to be before the kingdoms of Egypt. We're talking about the descendants of Adam here. The descendants of the Egyptians don't come until after Noah. Noah gave you Ham, Ham gave you Cush, Mizraim, and that's Egypt. That's Old Egypt, New Kingdom, and all that. But that don't take place according to the Hebraic calendar till the time of the flood, 2100 BC, 2106 BC. Over here. So from over here coming on down should be the Kemetic history, not before it. So this is what I'm showing you, family. So the time of the rise of Anu, you got the Battle of 1,000 Years. The Battle of 1,000 Years kind of roughly ended around 2753 BC, which is the timing of the Old Kingdom. I showed you that the Old Kingdom started 2700 BC. See that? The Old Kingdom, 2700 BC, 22. So right here, 27. So at the ending, roughly around Narmer's time period, this is when Ahuru put his foot on the earth. He started having dominion on the earth during the time of Narmer. During the time of Narmer was the Battle of 1,000 Years. But according to the Hebraic calendar, this is supposed to be the time of the descendants of Adam and Cain. And if you want to get technical, 3761 BC, anywhere coming behind that, like, all right, so 3161 BC is supposed to be the 7-day creation story. And according to the 7-day creation story, they said the 7-day creation story is supposed to be 1,000 years a day. So how can the creation story be 6,000 years and the goddamn creation cosmic calendar don't even start yet? The calendar is roughly under 6,000 years. It's 57 something. I forget. 57 whatever. It's 5700 BC, or 5700 years that the calendar is supposed to have started. But how can that be if a day is supposed to be 1,000 years unto the Lord, and the Lord created the heavens and the earth in 6,000 years? How can that be? That nigga created that shit in 7 days. And then after that, look, 3753 is not too far from 3761 BC. So 3753 BC could literally be the time of Adam. That's the time of Adam. That's not even what, 10 years? Yeah, that's what, 8 years? So from the creation of goddamn, so Adam, so if the world was created in 6 or 7 days, 3761 BC, by the time 10 years, 8 years roll around, Adam should be on the planet. So Adam could have been on the planet 3753 BC. That's the time of the Garden of Eden. Showing you how goddamn God spelled this shit is. This is the God spell. Right here. See that? So, coming back, removing them, just dealing with the calendar now, you got all that going on within this time period. Well, that's supposed to be the cosmic creation from Adam to Noah. All that's going on. And then, like I said, this is the 23rd arc cycle. See that? This is the 23rd arc cycle after the real creation of mortals. But your creation story starts within my timetables of prophecy, starts within the 23rd arc cycle after the creation of man. Look at that. Huh? The time of creation from the 23rd was 66,000 years previous. And notice that. 66,000 years from the creation of man to the 23rd arc cycle. 22 times 6. 22 times 3, I'm sorry. 22 times 3 is 66. 66,000 years from the creation of man to the 23rd arc cycle. And then within that 23rd arc cycle is when this so-called creation account is supposed to begin. And it's funny how this lined up with Anu Hassaj. Coming back to the Anu Hassaj. Look how close in alignment the time period is with Anu Hassaj. Huh? The creation is 3761 BC. Anu Hassaj started to start being influenced by Satan 3753 BC. Battle of 1,000 years. So by the time the 1,000 years is ended, he's about to come with his doctrine of creation. This is what's going on, family. This is supposed to be the calendar for the Hebrews. And it's clear as day, we mopping this shit up all over the place. On the lookout, I see you. Peace, family. I see y'all chiming in. You dig? All right, that's what it is, bronze. 5782. That's supposed to be, no, not BC, but the full length of the time. Because like Malachi had to explain, 5782, you got to subtract 2,000 from that. You know what I mean? So yeah, yo, we killing these niggas with this calendar right now, yo. These false gods did not see Cosmon cycle ahead of their lives. That's right, Keon. That's right, Data. You know what I mean? They wasn't expecting this. The blame is on these false gods concerning time and history. That's right. Irish Truth, what's good? Peace, I see you. Peace to the fam, I see y'all chiming in. See, Malachi Maccabee, I see you. Peace to the God. Stephan, I see you. Misha, Creator Gang, I see you in the building. Byron, the way I said big man. Yeah, so we showing you. Let me hit my spliff after this one. We showing you that this Hebrew calendar is off. It's totally off. This is the work by the false gods. The false god Anu Hassaj is the one behind us even having a Bible today. It was Anu Hassaj that gave us the creation story, the 7-day creation story. He gave us the Adam and Eve and the serpent, the genealogy of Adam and Cain. He gave us the story of the flood of Noah being a person. Anu Hassaj gave us all that during that time in the 23rd arc cycle, during his reign. And then after Anu Hassaj made the creation story, guess who came in place and modified the bitch? Osiris. Let's go to that real quick. Let's go to where Osiris modified the scripture. Let me go to that real quick. I'm showing you how much bullshit these cats done did dealing with these texts. Hold up. Yeah, yo, these false gods, they did a goddamn. That's why I said this is the God spell. We under a spell. If you think goddamn creation started 3761 BC, nigga, you up under a hell of a spell. Now, alright, so check it. Now we're gonna go to the Book of Wars Against Jehovah chapter. What chapter is this? 38? 38:11. 38:11. Let me go to that. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 38:11. Let's get that. Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 38, verse 11. Oh wait, no wait, that ain't it. Book of Wars. Excellent. Yeah, Selah, that's it. Alright, that's it. I was there. Alright, so check it. Can y'all see the screen? No, y'all can't see it. Hold up. Let me get some drink real quick. Let the eye drink, pour some juices. Keep the juices flowing, the blood clot. All right. All right. Hold tight, hold tight. Everybody hold tight. All right, so check it. Watch this. What the hell I was talking about? I don't forget what I was talking about. Oh, all right. We talking about the revising of the text. So like I said, hold up. So like I said, Oahspe was the first to give us the creation story, the genealogy of Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, the flood account, and the genealogy of Shem, Ham, and Japheth as people. That's what Oahspe did. And Osiris, he was the main cat for perfecting the text. The scribe, he was the main scribe, because his interpretation stood clearer than Sagantian. So after Osiris broke away from Oahspe, he revised the tales of Oahspe, and it states here. Y'all follow me? All right, it states here. So check it. This is in the Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 39, verse 11. It states, "So it came to pass that through the oracles, King Rotsag bestowed upon the libraries of heaven the history of creation." Huh? Where do you think they got the histories of creation from? Oahspe, of heaven and earth. With the origin of sin and the creation of man, the first of whom was hence after called Adam, instead of Asu, adopting the Persian word instead of the Vedic. Huh? And look what it states here. Look what it states here. "And these records were the same from which Ezra, 3,000 years afterward, made selections and erroneously attributed them to be the doctrine of the Faithists, who were called Israelites." So Ezra is copying the doctrines that was revised from Osiris, which was taken from Oahspe. See that? So let's go from the beginning again. What did that say? "And these records were the same from which Ezra, 3,000 years afterward, made selections and erroneously attributed them to be the doctrine of the Faithists, who were called Israelites. And these records of the Faithists were not kept nor permitted in the state records, but kept amongst the Faithists themselves." See that? "For they were outlawed then, even as they are to this day, because they would not adopt the saviors and gods, Elohims of the state." See that? The Faithists were outlawed because they won't believe in the goddamn saviors of Osiris or the Els, Elohims, El-Elyon. They ain't going for that. So this is when, and let me go to verse 10, because that's where the catcher is right there. It says, "And here stood the matter when Osiris resolved to revise the records of mortals and angels as regardeth the history of creation by God." Which God you think they talk about? Oahspe. "Which he, according to his own decree," not according to the Creator, but according to his own decree, "which were herebefore stated." See that? So it was Osiris. He said, "Here stood the matter when Osiris decided to resolve the issue." And this was during the genealogy, because when you come up, it's talking about genealogies, like verse 7. This ain't number genealogies they're talking about. Talking about the genealogies of the Egyptians is what they're talking about here. So when you come down to verse 10, "And here stood the matter when Osiris resolved to revise the records of mortals and angels as regarded the history of creation by God, which he did according to his own decree." See that? So he took the works that he did for Anu Hassaj and modified it, resolved it, changed it up some more. And then what is stated? So it came to pass that through the oracles, King Rotsag bestowed upon the libraries of Egypt the histories of the earth, with the origin of sin and the creation of mortals, the first of whom was henceforth called Adam instead of Asu, adopting the Persian word instead of the Vedic. See that? And then it stated what? And these records were the same from which Ezra, 3,000 years later, made selections. See, this is where Ezra made his selections from. But look what it stated in verse 10. And here stood the matter when Osiris resolved to revise the records of mortals and angels. He's revising this shit. But then it stated that, and these records were the same from which Ezra, 3,000 years afterward, made selections. You niggas is making selections from Egyptian records. This is why the Kemetic community say that your Christianity is influenced by Egypt. Here we see the proof. Ezra was inspired by Luamung. Luamung inspired Ezra to select from these mutilated doctrines from Osiris that he revised. See that? So when we come back to the calendar now, the rise of Anu started this shit. Osiris carried the torch for Anu with the carrying the God spell of the creation story. You know what I mean? So Osiris rose on the scene. Let's get that. When did Osiris rise on the scene? When Osiris rise on the scene? Basically, Osiris rose on the scene during the Old Kingdom. We click on Osiris. Let me get the Wikipedia of Osiris because they give you dates. So we got Osiris right here. What does it say? Let's see what the dates say. Let's see what the dates say. Osiris. He's the god of fertility, god of the afterlife. See all that? Let me get a date. Well, we got a date right here. The Old Kingdom. See, Osiris was dominant in the Old Kingdom. See that? 2686. So Osiris was present in the Old Kingdom. That's when Osiris really made his prominence in the Old Kingdom. So when we go back to the chart now, 2600, right? That's right here. Osiris came on the scene right at the ending of the Battle of 1,000 Years. Osiris is on the scene during the time of Adam to Noah. The Old Kingdom, the pyramids was built during this time. The pyramid building was during the Old Kingdom. So that's between right here, 2700 BC, 2753 BC coming on down. That's when the Old Kingdom began, a little roughly after that. That's Egypt. This is before Noah. See that? Shit is way off, man. Way the fuck off. And then, to make matters even worse, this is the 23rd Arc-Cycle. It continues on. Bam. Let me stretch that bitch out more. Now I put the 24th Arc-Cycle with it. The 24th Arc-Cycle is 3,400 years. The Ark of Bond. And that started in 1553 BC and ended in 1848 AD present time. And look where it got the time of Moses at. 1254 BC. From the time of Abraham to the time of Moses, they placed that at 1254 BC. We already showed you that the Exodus came during the beginning of the Arc-Cycle. The beginning of the Arc-Cycle was 1553 BC. The Exodus was 1546 BC. So the Exodus already took place when the so-called time of Moses, according to the Hebrew calendar. 1254 BC is the New Kingdom. The Exodus already took place during the New Kingdom. This is the New Kingdom. So you got the old kingdom. Let me see if it say new kingdom where I can just click on it. Old kingdom of Egypt. Look at that. This is the old kingdom. So these are the time periods we're playing with right here, with the old and the new kingdom of Egypt. The old kingdom of Egypt, this is the time. No, not the old kingdom, the middle kingdom, I mean. Let me get the middle kingdom, I'm sorry. You got the old kingdom, the middle kingdom, and the new kingdom of Egypt. That's how the time period is broken down in Egypt. Sorry, this is the middle kingdom. Let's get that time period of the middle kingdom. This is when they place the middle kingdom right here. The middle kingdom of Egypt. 2000 BC, basically the 1650 BC. Although we know this time period is off because they got the intermediate periods and they mix in the intermediate periods, or they separate the intermediate periods from the actual kingdom. But we just showing you the date. So this is the old kingdom, this is the new kingdom. Now Moses in the Exodus was 1546 BC. This shit would have took place at the beginning of the new kingdom. So by the time Moses, 1254 BC, nigga, the Exodus already took place. They well off into the new kingdom by 1253. This is like 200-300 years after the Exodus, the real Exodus, the expulsion of the Hyksos. Huh? Put that in. Expulsion of Hyksos. That's supposed to be the Exodus. Look at the time period. They give it the 18th dynasty, but look, they placed that around 1650, about 100 years after, or 100 years previous, 100 years before the actual date. And this is supposed to be the Exodus. It says this is the expulsion from Egypt. This is the only time period that you had a mass amount of people leaving Egypt. And they placed it 1650, but we know it to be 1546, the time of Amos, because Amos is the first kingdom of the new kingdom. Amos the first. Let's put in Amos the first. You put in Amos 1, look at his time period right there. See that? 1550. That placed Amos right at the time of the Exodus. But then if he's the ruler of the new kingdom, how can he be ruling at 1550, but they got 1650 for the old kingdom? So, of course, the Egyptian chronology, they be off a couple here and there, but for the most part, we showing you that this timeline is supposed to be within Adam and Eve, from Adam to Noah. You know what I mean? That's what's supposed to be this shit, but Amos is 1550. What does it say right here? That the beginning of the Arc-Cycle is 1553. So this would have been during the time of Amos. And Amos was the one who expelled the Hyksos. That was the Exodus during this time period. The beginning of the Arc-Cycle, of the 24th Arc-Cycle, was the Exodus. But you got damn near 300 years later, 1250, that they placed the time of Moses. And there is no Exodus during the time of this time period. There is no Exodus during the New Kingdom. And then the time of Moses to the time of Yeshua, that's supposed to be 430 years. And then to place Yeshua, I just went ahead and just placed it at 1 BC. So you're looking at the whole layout from the creation of the cosmos, Adam and Eve, to Yeshua. That's the time period right there. 1,656 years from Adam to Noah, and then from Noah to Abraham is 422 years, and from Abraham to Moses it's supposed to be 430 years, and then from Moses to Yeshua is 1254 before you come to the first century. All that's supposed to encompasses from Adam to Jesus. And look at the flood. The flood would have been 2106 BC. Ain't no flood during that time period. 2106 BC is what? What time period is 2106 BC? That's the Middle Kingdom, beloved. Right there. That's right after the Middle Kingdom. Really the Old Kingdom. Right here, let me click the Old Kingdom. That's really the Old Kingdom. If you want to get technical. See that? The Old Kingdom of Egypt is 2700 BC to 2200 BC. And what do they have here? 2200. This would have been right here. This would have been the flood. The time of the flood would have been the ending of the Old Kingdom. See that? 21. So actually the Middle Kingdom would have been the flood. But they dates is off, like I said, they dates is off some. See that? 21 030. This would have been the flood. All this shit would have been flood time. All this shit would have been goddamn Shem, Ham, and Japheth time. But what time, according to history, it is? It's the goddamn time of the middle of the Old Kingdom. This is your Hebrew calendar, Israel. We got work to do, Israel. If we gonna clean up house, we gotta clean this shit up. We gotta clean that up. That shit ain't looking good for the goddamn house of Israel right there. You dig? The truth keep getting better and better. That's right. It's like the Matrix. You want the red pill or the blue pill? I can show you how deep this motherfucker get now. Or I can send your ass back into the Matrix with them false gods. Yes, family. Zachary, Yahoo, Yashra, Allah, peace, King. Peace to the King. No doubt, King, no doubt. Most doubt. Yes, family. Maybe the flood story was a type of mental reset. Nah, these stories were from these false gods. Because if you notice the time period of these false gods, it fit exactly the time period of Oahspe. And Oahspe got to be responsible for giving these niggas this time period. See? Look at the rise of Oahspe compared to when they say the creation began. You talking less than 10 years. So from the creation of goddamn, you talking 8 years, man. 8 years. I want y'all to marinate on that shit right there. I want y'all to marinate on that. So from 3761 to 3753 is 8 years. 8 years. God ain't create no heavens and the earth in those 6,000 years. That's impossible according to this calendar. He would have had to create the heavens and the earth, and goddamn, he probably created the heavens and the earth in 6 years. It makes sense now. If he created the heavens and the earth in 6 years and rested on the 7th, and then he started on the 8th day would be 3753 BC. That's right after the 200-year marker. If God created the heavens and the earth if God created the heavens and the earth 3761 BC, he created the first day 3760 BC. He created the the second day 59. The third day 58, 54, 55, 56. Hold up, no, 50. Well, you know what? If you subtract 3761 from 3753, it's going to give you 8 days. 8 years, I'm sorry, 8 years. Each year is a day of creation. It makes sense. So by the time he gets to the year, the 8th day, because they say Adam was the 8th day creation. 37, let's do the math. Do I got the calendar? I know it's simple math, but shit, I just want to show you how this shit add up. So we put 37, 61, minus 37, 53. That equals 8. So if he started from 3761 and started the creation there, by the time he get to the 8th day, it's going to bring you to 3753. Adam was created on the 8th day, so Adam would have been created at 3753 if we're going to say that the Lord made the heavens or God created the heavens and the earth in 7 years. We can't say 6,000 years because that's going to overthrow this whole goddamn map. He can't create the heavens and the earth in 6,000 years That's longer than the calendar itself. Just like the Bible said, he created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. But I'm going to give it 6 years. He created the heavens and the earth in 6 years. He rested on the 7th, and on the 8th day, which is the first day of the week, he's walking, and he forms Adam after the 7-day creation. He created man on the 6th day. So he created man on the 6th day. And then he rested on the 7th day. And then he formed Adam out the dust of the ground on the 8th day, 3753 BC. And that's the time in the rise of Ahuru. When Ahuru gave you this false account, he was thinking of his time period. He said, all right, yo, we're going to start the creation calendar 3700 BC. From that point forward, we're going to get this shit to mortals. And like he said, he's gonna deceive mortals. He's not going to let mortals know the truth. I'm going to give him some old made up shit. And that's what we got from Ahuru, some made up shit. And this fits his time. This is his time period. Ahuru is the one who gave us the goddamn Adam and Eve. He gave us Noah as a man. Yeah. Then when you bring that 24th Arc-Cycle, we bring it on out of Moses, we bring it on out of Jesus. Showing you right there, we got the time periods laid out. And keep in mind, this is the 23rd Arc-Cycle. This is the 23rd and the 24th Arc-Cycle after the creation of man. That. That's just the 23rd Arc, but I had the 24th, it'll be stretched out the same way. See that? That's what's going on, fam. 66,000 years after the creation of man is when Anu rose up. The number of the beast is 66, as the Oahspe say. What's the number of the beast? Let's get that real quick. 666 years, yo. Because we in the 22nd Arc-Cycle. 22nd Arc-Cycle. And you times that by 3,000. What you get? 66,000 years. From the creation of man to the rise of goddamn this false God who gave us this creation story. Anu. And look how Oahspe ties it in. When you place the Oahspe timetables to this, it gives you the time of the beast. 66. And let's get that in the Oahspe, the time of the beast, real quick, fast. Watch out for the number of the beast, which is 1, 11, 66, 666. Let me find that right quick in Cosmogony and Prophecy. What did it say? See if I can find that quick fast. When I be online, cats be hearing my line. Y'all see me online teaching, yo. All right, let me see. 1 minute. Let me see. No. Bomb. Yes, family. You done know the vibes, yeah? All right, here it's right here. Let me get this right here. This is Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 11, verse 5. In the midst of verse 5, it states, "Wherefore these signs of blood and death, they are 4 heads of the beast. They are always stationed in the 4 corners of the lodge." Why in the 4 corners? Because of darkness upon them. They profess peace, but practice war. And look what it says right. How are they numbered? 1, 11, 666. See that? See that? 666, the number of the beast. Huh? And when did these things rise from the creation of man? 666,000 years after. 666, the number of the beast. 66,000 years from the creation of man. See that? This shit called, this Ahuru is the nature of the beast, the false gods. They ain't doing that. Them dirty little rascals. This is the God spell. Look how deep the spell is. You want to talk about being ingrided in the matrix? You don't get no worse than this. It It don't get no worse than this. We in the time of the beast. Messing with this false God. And them doings. I think it's another reference to the beast. Let me see what that one is. Yes, family. You know these vibes. Let me go to 8:7. Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 8, verse 7. It talks about the number again. 8, verse 7. Consequently, the two most important periods for a prophet's consideration come within 33 and what? 66. 66, huh? It says what? Consequently, the most important period for the prophet's consideration comes within 33 and 66. 66, the time of the beast. 66,000 years from the creation of man to the 23rd Arc-Cycle when this false God rolls up. Or as they say of old, man and beast. Now, beast represents the 66. The nature of the beast, the nature of man to become more carnal, more animalistic in his being. So again, it states what? Consequently, the two most important periods for the prophet's consideration come within 33 and 66, or as they say of old, man and beast, which measure man is divided into two parts, man and beast. And there is ever a percentage in his behavior clinging to one or the other, and they correspond to the vortexian currents of the earth. So again, it's showing you that the nature of the beast is 66. Again, look what it states here, dealing with these numbers. Thus suppose a grade run below 33, but not as low as 22. Of such people fall under Ajah for a period of what? 66 years. 66 again. But they're under Ajah for 66 years. But keep in mind, remember when I read in the Oahspe that Jehovah brought Ajah during this time. See that? Ajah, darkness for 400 years, a season. See that? The time of the beast, 66. So when Ajah came on the scene is when Anu rose up. So again, it states, thus suppose a grade to run below 33, but not as low as 25. Such a people fall under Ajah for a period of 66 years, or even more. War, destruction, and death, and lust will come upon that people. So that's what we're dealing with right now. So we got to be in the time of Ajah, because we're dealing with what? We're dealing with war, we're dealing with destruction and death and lust. Come upon that people. Look at the hip-hop culture. It's very lustful. But look what it states here. But suppose the same, But suppose the same fall of Ajah come upon a people graded above 33 to 66. War and intellect with oratory, music, and remarkable men of genius will result. Now we could be in that time period because we're still in war. We're dealing with intellect, oratory, music, remarkable men of genius. We're there too. Because look at the technology we have. Look at the war technology we got. But to carry it still further, if the same fall of Ajah come upon the people above 66, see? Time of the beast. But if this come above 66, they will manifest in multitudes of lords, gods, and saviors. See that? That's going to be another deception. They're going to make it coming. If your grade is above 66 and Ajah fall upon that people, these false gods will manifest as multitudes of gods, lords, and saviors. And what? And in superstitions and rites and ceremonies, which will more or less pertain to sexualism. Was it Alex the Crowley and all them niggas onto that old sexualism, crazy demonic shit? See, Oahspe is exposing all this shit. It's exposing all this shit. So 66 is the number of the beast. 666 years within the 23rd Arc-Cycle, or after the creation of man, is when this took place. Yes, family. Exposing this. That's your creation calendar. with the histories. I ain't even put all the history. I just gave you the basis. Just some highlighters. And then here go the full stretch from Adam to Noah, or from the creation of the cosmos to Jesus. There you have it right there, laid out. And then from Jesus to our present time, 1848. There you go. This is supposed to be that's supposed to be from the creation of man to our present time, right there on this chart. That's crazy. That's crazy. But that goes to show you how dangerous these goddamn false gods are. Now let's raise the rhythm. Let's raise the rhythm. Recreational time, yeah? Yes, family. You don't know. When you get inspired by Jah revelation, you must hit the dance floor and express the moves of Jah. Jah over I and I. Yeah? Yes, family, bring it in. Host you in Israel, I see you. Peace, fam. I shipped out your tea today, beloved. It should be coming in 2 days. Richard Blue, I hear you. Angelic, I see you. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Oh, I see you on the lookout first on the dance floor. Two-step into it. Let's get it. Let's two-step to the rhythm there. Two-step to the rhythm there. Get it? Oh, we got the dances. We got the skeleton dances. I'm gonna bust our rhythm, yeah? It's a vibes. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. It's a vibes. You're laughing, bronze. You laughing at my skeleton dances. You laughing at my skeleton dances, yo. They two-stepping it out, yo. They getting busy, son. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. We raising up the drudges. See, those are the drudges you see in dancing that's being raised up. They learning how to synchronize rhythm once again. I'm bringing them back to the ways of Jehovah. Like I say, you bring them, we'll raise them. Cause it's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Yes, family. A two-step on the dance floor, yeah? As we vibe, we breaking the God spell. As we talk about the God spell, the spell that got us under a grid of foolishness and fuckery. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Drudges getting it in, you done okay. If I bring them out, yeah. It's a vibes. Come on. We ain't going nowhere, we just vibing out. This is the recreational period where the atmospherians and etherians intermingle and converse about Jehovah's creation. Cause it's a vibes, vibes. We talked about how the calendar, the Hebrew calendar, is a falsified calendar of time. So if your calendar is falsified, if your calendar is false, that means your prophecies must be questioned. The prophecies of when you say things shall occur, because prophecy is talking about things to come. But there's a timeline. There's a prophetic timeline. But if you're basing this prophetic timeline based off this Hebrew calendar, which started 3761 BC, nigga, your time is off. It's a vibes. Yes, family, we don't know the Ethereans are a jam to you. You know what I mean? I'm a jam up on the spaceship, yeah? It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Why nobody woke me up? How you know when you was sleeping? How we supposed to know you sleeping, Tequila? How we supposed to know that? You ain't set no alarm. Vibing on a spaceship. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, vining? Oh, okay, vining on a spaceship. That's a new one there. I'm like, alright, we vining. Yes, family, we clearing up these things. The righteousness of the Creator. We're breaking the God spell. We're breaking the God spell. This is part 3 of the God spell. It's the vibes. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Yes, family. Getting the next segment of things in order for the family. You're done, no? The words of Zarathustra, as my man Malachi Maccabee brought up, that the Essene Gospel spoke about Zarathustra. So I'm going to just touch on quickly to show we're not going to go in depth with the Zarathustra. Just a brief touch up. And if I clear up some things, yeah? So be patient with the hydrant. Chapter 8, let's get it. I'm just putting things in order for the fam. You dig? We got. Now let's get this. It's a vibes. Yes, family, we vibing out to the music. You know how the vibes go, we don't stop. We keep the flow going. Cause it's a vibe, vibe, vibe. Yes, family. We vibing out to the music. As we go into our next lecture. Our next segment is the recreational time. As we go into our next segment. What it is. Cause it's a vibe, vibe, vibe. A word. My wife scolded me on. I'll put you in front of the camera. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. Alright. Yes, family, large up yourself, big up yourself. Your boy Selah Shalom back in for the next segment of According to the Text as it is written. So now, I was building with the brother Malachi Maccabee. He tried to bring me on earlier, but I was handling some orders and some brewing some tea. So, he brought to my attention that in the gospel, in the Eastern gospel, that Zarathustra, I don't say Zarathustra, we say Zarathustra, was spoken about in the joint. You know what I mean? So I just want to touch on that quick fast, and then, later on or tomorrow we're going to go on all three, me, him, and Cal P on the segment, just touching on that. You know what I mean? The calendar and Zarathustra, and the influence of Zarathustra. So now, Zarathustra came on the scene during the time of Fraggle Patty. Zarathustra came on the scene during the time of the 22nd Arc-Cycle after the creation of man. That's the time of Zarathustra. So let me just show a quick picture of the chart there. A quick picture of the chart there. So right there. That's it right there. So the time of Zarathustra would have been the 22nd Arc-Cycle. I got the closest I got is the 23rd. So the 22nd Arc-Cycle after the creation of man is the time of Zarathustra. Well, so that'll put us, if that's 3 Arc-Cycles ago from our present time, that'll put us 9,000 years ago. Just on the basis of 3,000 years. Going back to the 24th to the 23rd to the 22nd, that'll be 9,000 years. So the real Zarathustra was 9,000 years ago. 8,900 BC would have been the time of Zarathustra. So that's on the timetables of prophecy. That's why we got the timeline charted out. We got something to play with compared to the Bible, but they don't really give you a real timeline to play with. So Zarathustra was damn near 9,000 years ago. So now, let me share my screen, right? So here, when you just do a Google search on Zarathustra, when you look to the right here, it'll say Zarathustra, also known as Zarathustra, also known as Zarathustra, Spitama or Ashur. Zarathustra is regarded as the spiritual founder of Zarathustraism. But look what his born date is. They put him at 1000 BC. They put him right here. 1000. Now 1000 BC over here is shit. That's within the 24th Arc-Cycle. 1000 BC. So they placing Zarathustra at 1000 BC. Now that we already know that the time is off because we just said that Zarathustra is damn near 9,000 years ago. So if they place Zarathustra at 1000 BC, who is the reigning gods at this time? The reigning gods at that time of 1000 BC was Luamung, Kabbalistes, and Inuksa, but we're going to get to that. But I just want to show how that, according to Google, this is the year that they got him born, 1000 BC. That's his date. Now, who is Zarathustra? Zarathustra was a Persian prophet. Let's go straight into the Oahspe. The purpose of Zarathustra was to bring, basically, like how Moses brought the law, statutes, and commandments, and it was a doctrine, it was a book of laws. That's what Zarathustra, he was the first to do that. Before Abraham, before Moses, Zarathustra was the first. And he comes out the same stock of Abraham, because Abraham is Persian, Zarathustra is Persian. It's the same stock or the same people. Now it states here. This is in the book of Divinity. No. This is in the book of God's Word, chapter what? Chapter 8. It says, "These then are the Zarathustrian laws, the Ahuru Mazdian laws, which being interpreted into English should be described as God's Word, transcribed from the libraries of heaven by the will of Jehovah." See that? So now, basically, this is saying that Ahuru Mazda right here, that's equivalent to God. But the creator in the Zarathustrian laws and doctrine is Mazda, and we're going to get to that. So verse 2 states, that is to say, Zarathustra said, "Interpret to me, O Holy One." Ahuru Mazda said, being equivalent to God. Ahuru Mazda said, "O Pure One, all pure. Hear thou, I will interpret. Write thou." Zarathustra. Zarathustra wrote, then spoke Ahuru Mazda, then spoke God to Zarathustra, the all pure. Look what it states. First Oahspe. Let's stop there. So right there, even in the Zarathustra doctrine, it gives you the rank and order. It lets you know that Ahuru Mazda is equivalent to God, and that Oahspe is equivalent to the Creator, Master Light, or the All Master Light. So it says first. It didn't say first was Ahuru Mazda. It said first was Oahspe. So this is Oahspe is the equivalent of the Creator in the Zarathustrian law. First Oahspe was, and he created all things. He was all, he is all, he was all round, and put forth hands and wings. Then began the beginning of things seen and of things unseen. Now keep in mind what he's describing is basically the Creator and generating the vortex. Because like I said, the vortex is round. And when we talk about put forth hands and feet, that's symbolic of creation. Now, verse 7. The first best highest places he created was the all possibility. The second best highest place he created was the all good. With him are all things possible. With him are all things good. Can't go wrong with that. Oahspe, verse 8. Oahspe then created the first best places, the longest enduring, the Arion or the Etheria, the highest of all good creation. Verse 9. Third best place created Oahspe, which is Harata, a heavenly place or a heavenly good place, a home of Fragapati, a creator son of the heavenly Ariana Vajja, a rescuer of men and spirits from Arimanius, the evil of blood and bones. So Arimanius is equivalent to like Satan in the Persian doctrine, or the Zarathustra doctrine. Verse 10, the fourth best created place created Oahspe, the creator. See that? There you have it right now. That's they go to in writing. Oahspe, the creator. Oahspe, the creator is equivalent to Jehovah. So again, the fourth best created place created Oahspe, the creator, which was God, the dwelling place of Sudga, a heavily shaped and straight limbs and arms, and ample chest, full of music. Verse 11, out of Meru, of the regions of Hirata, came the voice created by the creator Omaz, and came to Ahuru Mazda. They go to, see that? They go to context. You got the creator here, Omaz, and then you got Ahuru Mazda. See that? Ahuru Mazda. So you got God right there, and then you got creator. You got creator, and you got God. See that? And now cometh to thee Zarathustra, thou all pure. So they go to chain of command right there. It's showing you the chain of command. Hold up. Right there. By the creator came to Ahuru Mazda, and now cometh to thee Zarathustra. See that? See how the system in order works? The chain of command. You got the general, the captain. See what I'm saying? So Oahspe showing you the system in order, even with the story of Zarathustra. And this is the original. This is the pure Zarathustrian doctrine that we read it. This is before they corrupted it. I'm going to get to the corruption, but I want to show you just a couple of verses from the pure doctrine of Zarathustra, what they teach. So when you go into these mutilated texts that they have today in the Sanskrit, and if you see anything opposed to what we read, then you know that's coming from, it's not coming from the creator, although it may be written in the Sanskrit. Verse 12. Fifth best place created the creator, the Bakada, with lofty standards. Verse 13. Then came Aramanius, the black doubt, the Sagwan, sowing seed. See that? Verse 14. After that, the creator created Tisug, the reason of man, and turned his eyes inward that he could see his own soul. So that's reasoning. See, these are certain mental developments that they're talking about as well. Mental facilities, mental capacities, making you aware of reasoning and rationalization, comprehension. Aramanius, the black doubt, meaning second guessing yourself. Should I did this? And when you were sure about it, now you're second guessing yourself. These are the things that they're talking about. These are spiritual traits. Now when we go to chapter 2, not chapter 2, but we go to the next chapter. Oh. So, it's said to be, hold on, let me see something. So check it. It'll come down here. It'll come down. It'll skip around a little bit. So I just want to just give you certain concepts of how the creator is talking in the book. Matter of fact, let me come back up. Let me start from verse 11. Right? Now keep in mind, Almaz is God. Almaz said, these are not to hear my voice. These are Arminius, O Zarathustra. Then Zarathustra inquired, saying, is not to hear the voice, a person is to hear the voice. They got that out, marked out. Let's go to verse 12. Ahuru Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, Aramanius was a person, but he is dead. Vivio is a person, and he liveth. To all the holy, to all the good, to all the wise, but to all the evil, to all the bad, to all the foolish, Aramanius is not dead. Then inquired Zarathustra the all pure, whence came all good? Whence came all evil? Who is all good? Who is all evil? Then answered Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, saying, Thou perceiveth now all evil must have a name. All good must have a name. Without names no man could talk. Behold, I will write for thee, O Zarathustra, the all pure. The mark I make first, thou shalt call the all good, the creator, the master, the light. Here then have I made a circle, and a cross, and a leaf. For these characters with explanation, see tablet Selah, verse 8 and 9. So now, Ahuru Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, whoever looked upon this mark, whoever seeth, sees the name of the name of all names, the creator. Whoever make this mark, write the name of all good. Whoever pronounced this mark, pronounced the name of Ramaz, the all master. Then made Ahuru Mazda a circle and painted 4 dark corners in it. Then called it Revisionist and Udruk, the opposite to all truth and all light and all good. And Ahuru Mazda explained to Zarathustra. Verse 16. And behold, there stood within the circle of evil the name of the all good, the cross, and it was light, and the corners were black. Ahuru Mazda called the mark fate, explaining to Zarathustra the all pure, saying, these 3 marks embrace all the created creation. Hence the name of the 3rd one is fate, from which there is no escape, nor separation forever. Verse 17, Zarathustra inquired of Ahuru Mazda, saying, is evil evil? Is good good? Ahuru Mazda said, evil is evil to man, but evil is not evil to Oahspe. Good is good to man, but good is not good to Oahspe. Only 2 conditions are before Oahspe, not evil nor good, but ripe and unripe. To Oahspe, that which man calleth evil is unripe. To Oahspe, that which man calleth good is ripe. Understand the wisdom being displayed here. Verse 18. Ahuru Mazda went on explaining, saying, for sake of understanding, O Zarathustra, for sake of not confounding thee, thou shalt call evil evil and good good. And hear me then, my son. He said, without green fruit, none could be right. Without evil, none could be good. So Oahspe created all creation, and he called it good. But lo and behold, there was nothing to do. All things moved not, as if dead. All things were as if nothing. Then Oahspe blew. What is the blowing? The vortex. Then Oahspe blew his breath outward, and every created thing went into motion. And these at the front were called all good, and those at the rear were called all evil. Thus created the Creator the good creation and the evil creation, the Ahuru Mazda and the Armenians, basically God and Satan, just to be plain. But notice when it states, then blew his breath outward, that's talking about the vortex. This is the Big Bang. The motion of the vortex is the Big Bang. Now it states here, I think this is verse chapter 10. It states, then spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure, saying, Thus thy Creator created all things, and the time of the creation was a time and a time and a time without measure. You know why? Because you can't measure the vortex. Once that vortex is given a rotary and then the motion begins, when you come into creation, you don't know how long that vortex been in motion. It's measureless. Thus Ahuru Mazda said unto Zarathustra, thus are the created creations, thus were the created creations, and thus shall ever be the created creations. See that? Creation has always been. The light of all light is Ahuru. He is the soul of all souls. These are the things seen and the things unseen. Created by Ahuru, thy creator. Ma, the earth, almighty, then is the voice, the expression of things, the all speech of the all communion, the all speech, the all communion, created by Ahuru, thy creator, and by Ma, and by Ma, the Almighty Mother, a virgin never before conceived, and this was Vivio, the Son. See that? That's like Mother Mary being the virgin and conceiving of the Holy Son. That concept was known about back then in Zarathustra's time. Ahuru Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, behold, O thou Zarathustra, here I make one straight line, and now I make another straight line, and now another, all joined. Zarathustra answered, saying, thou hast made a triangle. What is the meaning, O Ahuru Mazda? Then Ahuru Mazda, saying, 3 in 1, O Zarathustra, Father, Mother, and Son, or Maz, the spirit or ghost of all things. Ma, the seen and unseen, and Vivio, the expression of things. See that? So he's basically talking about the Creator is expressed 3 in 1. See, these concepts was already goddamn played out in Persia back then. Talked about. Ahuru Mazda said unto Zarathustra, these 3 comprise all things. And all things are but one. Nor were there more, nor shall ever be. Nevertheless, O my son, each of these hath 1,000,000 parts. 1,000 million parts. 10,000 million parts. And every part is like unto the whole. That's like water. You could take water and distribute water in solid, liquid, and gas, many parts. Thou, O Zarathustra, also, for thou hast within thyself 3 attributes, and no more, and each and all created things have these 3 attributes in them. Thus, Ahuru created all the living creation. Brothers and sisters created he them in likeness of himself, with 3 entities embracing in one, which are, first, the ghost, or the spirit, the soul, which is incomprehensible, second, the beast, which is the figure, the flesh, the person, which is called individual, and third, the expression, to receive and impart. Ahuru Mazda said to Zarathustra, the all pure, to receive and to impart, what else hath man? What more desires he? Then Ahuru Mazda made a picture of a cow, a picture of a horse, a strong male horse dashing forth. And he asked Zarathustra, saying, which of these signify receiving? Which of these signifying to impart? And Zarathustra perceived. Ahuru Mazda said unto Zarathustra, to be negative is to be a cow, to be positive is to be a horse. And these are concepts, so don't get, like, what the hell are you talking about? Zarathustra inquired of Ahuru Mazda, saying, how many words are there that can be written? So basically, I could read all day on that, but they're basically having a dialogue, a Q&A, and God is clearing up or explaining to Zarathustra the essence of created things by the Creator. So those are the Zarathustrian laws, the Mazdian laws. So let me go right here real quick. Go ahead and finish it out. Zarathustra inquired of Ahuru Mazda saying, how many words are there that can be written words? Thou hast now written many wise words full of meaning. How many more words are there? Then answered Ahuru Mazda saying, 1,000 words and 10,000 words would be not all, but 10 times 10 times thousands, hundreds, thousands, and there are all the words created. So they just having a dialogue on some intellectualism. So now, verse 9, then Zarathustra the all-pure said, write me down all the words and explain the meaning of them to me, that I may go before the world teaching all truth, so that men will no longer be in darkness. So that was the purpose of Zarathustra right there in a nutshell. This God, or Ahuru Mazda, through Ormazd, is going to write for Zarathustra the doctrinal laws, which later on became the laws of Zarathustra. So verse 10 states, then Ahuru Mazda wrote down tens of hundreds and thousands of words and explained the meaning. After that, Zarathustra sat in the bushes for 30 days and 30 nights, neither eating nor drinking nor sleeping. Then Ahuru Mazda revealed the secrets of heaven and earth to him and commanded him to write them in a book. See that? The which he did. And this was the first book, the Zarathustrian law, the Ormazdian law. See that? This was what? The first book. This was the first book of laws, the Zarathustrian law. See that? This came before Abraham, before Moses, was the Zarathustrian law, and they wrote it in a book. So basically, that's just a communication between God and Zarathustra, and then Zarathustra begins to write the creation. And then the next story goes into the creation. It's a lengthy story, but just summing it up in a nutshell, this is the Zarathustra, the holy and pure, the first Zarathustra, with his encounter with Ahuru Mazda, the God who explained the creation of Ormazd. So that's the system in order. Shows you the ranking system, right? So now, when we go now, we come. Now here's where the false Ahura comes on the scene. This is when the false Ahura, this is in the book of Divinity chapter 10. This is when the false Ahura comes on the scene. It states, in the 1200th year after Fragapati, so this is 1200 years after Zarathustra. So 1200 years after Fragapati, in the east colony of Haratai, one Cetus, a former lord of Jehovah's hosts, renounced Jehovah, the creator, and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura, the master light. See that? Now we have a false god coming on the scene, proclaiming to be the Ahura of Zarathustra. And then what? And he took with him 3 lords of grade 88. Those are some high-ranking angels. And 12 sub-gods of grade 64. And of 1,600 students. And 800 years resurrection. None of whom were less than grade 60. And were sufficient to pass as brides and bridegrooms. And these students took with them 36,000 teachers, factories, and physicians and nurses, all of whom were upward of grade 40. So he rolling with some bad boys. And keep in mind, he renounced Jehovah, falsely proclaiming to be Ahura, and this is the people he's taking with him to start his colony. And the states, and Ahura the false appropriated to himself one colony of 110 million angels together with the colleges and school factories, and all things whatsoever belonging therein. And the 3 lords took their kingdoms, and by annexation made them part and parcel with Ahura's kingdom. Now these 3 lords' kingdoms comprise the largest inhabitable places of mortals, being India, Japheth, which is Asian China, and the greatest heavenly place of angels in the first resurrection. So this is going on with the false Ahura. This is the next guy proclaiming to be Ahuru Mazda. Let's go to verse 3. And Ahura divided up the regions he had thus obtained, making confederate heavenly kingdoms, making confederate heavenly kingdoms sufficient in number to give place of dominion to his lords and gods, and to make sub-gods out of all the other thousand, out of all the 1,600 students. And after that, Ahura numbered his people, and there were in his heavens more than 3,000 million souls, 3 billion souls. So after all that, he had 3 billion souls in his kingdom. So you got 3 billion souls believing that he is the Ahuru Mazda. And now check this, look. God sent messengers to Selah. That's the name of the false god who claiming to be Ahuru Mazda. So again, God sent messengers to Selah who assumed the name Ahuru Mazda. See that? That's it right there. We can close this out. Look what it say. And this is true God. True God sent message to Selah who had assumed the name Ahuru Mazda. Huh? We just read right here in the book of Zarathustra, the real Zarathustra. It said, by the authority, then I, Zarathustra, by the power of Ahuru Mazda, reveal the created creation. This is the real Zarathustra talking. He said, Ormazd created a good, then he's referring to Ormazd, but here, in the false account, God sent, this is 1,200 years later, true God sent message to Selah who had assumed the name Ahuru Mazda. Now we have the first false god assuming to be Ahuru Mazda, assuming to be God. And true God sending this nigga a message like, yo, he got wind. He like, nigga, I know nigga, you Selah. What the hell you talking about, you Ahuru Mazda? So let's see what God talking about. So again, God sent message to Selah who had assumed the name Ahuru Mazda, inquiring, admonishing, and inquiring, my Lord, whom I have loved, whom by my own hand was crowned in the name of Jehovah. Why hast thou deserted the Father's kingdom? Huh? True God is asking, yo, I crowned you, my nigga. What the fuck is you doing? What you doing over here calling yourself Ahuru Mazda? You ain't Ahuru Mazda, nigga. I know you. That's what true God is telling this nigga, like, what's good? Wherein hast thou had come to complain against Jehovah? Wherein against me, thy God? O my son, my Lord, say not thou hast gone so far, thou cannot return. What can thou ask of me that I will not grant unto thee? Nah, even judge thou me, and if thou desires all the heavens and earth in my place, I will abdicate unto thee, and become thy lowest servant, or whatsoever thou wilt put upon me. Look at true God. That's a real nigga, right? That's a real person. That's a real friend talking like that. Like, nigga, I'll do it, yo. Just come back, bro. If you don't even want to sit on the throne, nigga, I'll be the lowest of the lowest. That's the true friend talking right there. That's my brother's keeper at his fullest. Look what the reply. Look what the reply. Ahura returned this answer to wit. Because I have nothing against thee, I have alienated myself and my kingdom from thee. I desire not thy kingdom, not even my own. Behold, I looked upon thee, and thou wert pure and holy. And I looked upon the kingdoms of heaven and the kingdoms of earth, and they were impure and unholy. Then came certain brothers, lords to me, most wise lords, and they said, a less pure God, a less holy God would be more efficient. So I was persuaded to my course. You see how these niggas become false gods? He was persuaded by his lords, claimed to be wise men. Verse 6. God replied to this, saying, behold, we have a diva, a divine counsel. Why speaketh thou not thus before me, face to face? You know, we talk about in the Bible, talk about God speaking to man face to face. It makes sense when you understand that these gods are angels. And thy 3 great lords were also divines, and they were silent on the matter likewise. The diva would have decreed it. Whatever was all wise, because I was in darkness, I saw not thy thoughts, nor thy lords, and ye have heaped shame upon me. How shall I send my records to Etheria? Shall I say, behold, certain lords consulted clandestinely, and they concluded to overthrow the Creator? See how true God talking? He like, yo, I'm gonna go talk to these Ethereals talking about when I send my records that some nigga trying to overthrow. How that's gonna look, King? That's how he talking to C-Tuss. C-Tuss know what the fuck going on. He know about the harvesters. He know about the Ethereal. And C-Tuss decides to call himself Ahuru Mazda and become a lesser god, a more impure god. What type of fuckery that mind them think, yeah? So again, let me start from the beginning. God replied to this saying, behold, we have a diva. Why speak thou not thus before me face to face? And thy three great lords were also divines, and they were silent on the matter likewise. The diva would have decreed it, whatever was all wise. Because I was in darkness, I saw not thy thoughts, nor thy lords, and ye have heaped shame upon me. How shall I send my records to Etheria? Shall I say, behold, certain lords consulted clandestinely concluded to overthrow the Creator? How forsooth they have gone and set up a kingdom of their own, calling it the all highest. Ain't that what Israel like to say? Yo, this the all highest. Hear me yet, and I will endeavor to speak wisely unto thee. Thy messengers notified me some days since that thou hast repudiated Jehovah, saying, there is no all highest person. I can make myself high as the highest. See that? He's making himself the creator in the image of man. This is where the whole man concept, you thinking that the creator is in the image of a man. These niggas started these concepts when they decided to deify themselves in replacement of the creator. And then it states what? And thereupon thy messengers gave me a map, saying, behold, thou, here are the boundaries of the kingdom of Ahuru Mazda, the all-sufficient high God. See that? Now, Ahuru Mazda is the all-sufficient, he's the high God now. But in the original Zarathustra story, when we come back over here, when we come back over here, by this authority, then I, Zarathustra, by the power of Ahuru Mazda, revealed the creation, the created creation. This is the real Zarathustra, but here you have this hijacker, 1,200 years later, talking about he the goddamn new the new Ahuru Mazda, the all-sufficient high God. See how these false gods? And a lot of time, these doctrines of the false god is what you have in these Sanskrits today. The same way Oahspe had to clean up the Hebrew mess, the same way they got to clean up the Zarathustrian mess too. Verse 8, I looked over the map and beheld its great extent, and I surmise to myself, he is a great God that can rule over all that. For I knew thee in thy education, which is as great as any laws in atmosphere. And thou knowest, thou cannot control even a plateau. Can thou rise thy hand and stay the Aja or the Jaya or the nebula? Scarce can thou change a single current of wind, nor can thou cast a drought on any land. This is God talking about the powers these angels have to do these things and saying, nigga, you can't even do these things, and you talking about you the all highest God? Nigga, you can't even cast a drought on the land. Nigga, you can't even change the wind currents. And yet thou knowest there are gods who can do these things by a motion of one finger. How darest thou then proclaim thyself an all-sufficient high God? See that? God checking this nigga. How you gonna sit here and tell me that you the all highest and you can't even change the wind currents? You can't stop the Aja, the Jaya, and the nebula. Scarce can that, what did it say? Well, hold up. It said, scarce can thou change a single current of wind. He said, you could barely do that. He said, you could barely do that. And true God say what? How dare thou then proclaim thyself the all highest sufficient God? See that? True God checking this nigga right there on the spot. But check it. But I will not rebuke thee, for I desire thy love and thy help. I would win thee by any sacrifice I can make. Behold, there is great darkness in heaven and on earth, wherein I may be short. I will rebuke myself in after ages. I pray thee then, return thou to me, and make exactions upon me and my kingdoms. With thy loss, behold, the diva is broken up. With thy dismemberment of heaven, others will follow. Alice, I will not look upon even that which my soul seeth. I plead for thy love and for thy assistance. Nevertheless, if the all highest light for the all best good showeth thee that thou art right, come not to me. I know the great spirit will sustain me. Even thou, my soul, is well near crushed to pieces by the loss of so fair a love. So this nigga got love for his partner. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You gonna do this shit? Yo, come on, bro. Come back. That's like ISUPK telling the other camps come back to the fold. You know what I'm saying? Just giving you an example. Now, here's the reply. That was true God being genuine. But to this, Ahuru the false replied, How can thy thought to me do as I did, if it be not wise and best course? God said, Because of thy long reign of Jah, thou wert inoculated with darkness, even as mortals on a rainy day lose his patience to be wise. See that? These niggas talking wisdom. Then Ahura sent the following to wit, I have been patient in my answers. He ain't, by him saying that he ain't got no patience. I have been patient in my answers, but now will I speak plainly. First of all, thou art all pure, the most wise, above all other gods. For more than 200 years I have been a faithful Lord unto thee and thy kingdoms. At first the great light came to thee, and a voice came out of the light. Then I feared, and I was a wee stricken, because I believe thee so near the Creator. Thy every word and act were to me worshipful. Verse 13. At last I rebuked myself, saying to myself, Fool, givest thou worship to man born of women? Remember thy Creator only. Verse 14. But the times changed. Jah fell upon heaven and earth. Our glorious kingdoms were cast down by the great darkness. Then I reasoned, saying to myself, Behold, when we were in light, Jehovah's voice spoke unto us. When we were in darkness, the voice came not. We sat in the diva, in the altar circle, praying for a light from the Father, but it came not. And I said more, we need the voice in darkness than in light. For 100 years we sat. For 100 years we saw not the light of the voice, nor heard the voice speak. Thou hast said, thou heardest in thy soul. Who is there in heaven or on earth that can hear? Who can I say as much? So here's Ahura giving his case about why he stopped following the Creator. Because when Jah come in the time of darkness, he's saying that the Creator ain't speaking. And that's the time that we need him most. So verse 15. In my soul I no longer believe there is an all highest person, an all person. There are great gods 1,000 times greater than I. But there is the end. Yeah, some of those great gods may have cast the Jah upon us. But that is not my matter. There is room for thee and thy people. Here is room for me and my people. Now check this. Jehovah spoke to God, saying, Answer thou not Ahura no more. He said, Answer thou not Ahura more. Like, don't say nothing else to this nigga. Behold, I will interpret him to thee. He will even yet persuade angels and mortals that he, look, see that? That it was he who inspired Zarathustra. What did Jah say? Let me get that again. What did he say? Behold, I will interpret him to thee. See that? He will even persuade angels and mortals that it was he who inspired Zarathustra. Huh? He will, hold on, let me get that. He will even yet persuade angels and mortals that it was he who inspired Zarathustra. See the deception? Jehovah like, yo, he gonna play like he Ahuru Mazda who came to Zarathustra. But when we come to the original Zarathustra, by this authority then I, Zarathustra, by the power of Ahuru Mazda, revealed the created creation. That's who Cetus, the false Ahura, is claiming to be now. Jehovah's telling them like, yo, he gonna try to be Ahuru Mazda. He gonna assume. He will even persuade angels and mortals that he was inspired by Zarathustra. Like, he inspired Zarathustra. See what's going on? But he seeth it not himself. Suffer him, therefore, to go his way. Neither take sorrow to thy soul. Have I not, from the lowest to the highest, given unto all men, even that which they desire? Behold, I can use even bad men in their far future. This is Jehovah talking. Verse 17, Jehovah said, for a long season, Ahura will strive to walk upright, but because he hath cut me off, he will also cut himself off in time to come. Behold, a mortal man striveth for riches honorably, and when he is rich, his riches cut him off from me by the ruin he cast upon his competitors, nor can he extract himself. Even so will it be with Ahura. His kingdom and his subkingdoms and his multitude of officers will cause him to enslave hundreds of millions of drujas, and they will draw him into a vortex from which he cannot escape. And that vortex they're talking about is a knot. So Jehovah just summoned up the whole thing one time. The true God like, yo, don't even worry about him. Let him run his course. Matter of fact, he gonna persuade mortals and angels that it was him that inspired Zarathustra as being Ahuru Mazda. So this is what I'm showing you about Zarathustra. See, the Oahspe is showing you the true, pure Zarathustra, Ahuru Mazda, and Ormaz, and then it's showing you through a false god 1,200 years later that Cetus assumed to be Ahuru Mazda. See that? And now Jehovah is telling true God this was about to take place for this dude. That's what's going on here. This nigga tried to be the creator. And then what that verse 18 states? So Jehovah told the nigga he gonna be up in the vortex. He gonna be in the knot. Don't worry about it, true God. So God answered Ahura no more. But nevertheless his heart was full of sorrow. Now when the time of the meeting of the diva came, God foresaw that not more than one half of them would be present, and he feared the question that might come up. Check this. But Jehovah said unto him, fear not, my son, for even though many more leave thee, yet shall thou preserve the diva to the end of this cycle, meaning the end of the Arc-Cycle. So it came to pass that Jehovah stilled the tongues of all the gods and lords of the diva in reference to Ahura, even as if they had never known him. And Ahura sent quizzers, like inquisitors, to different gods and lords afterward to learn what actions the diva had taken in his case. But when he was told that he had not been mentioned, he became angered, and he swore an oath that he would build the largest of all heavenly kingdoms. So after he left, and True God tried to plead with the nigga, and Jehovah said, you don't even respond to the nigga. And when True God went back to the diva, the council, to discuss, and Ahura was like, all right, well, what they gonna talk about since I've been gone? He found out that, yo, they didn't even mention you, dude. They didn't even bring your name up. The nigga got upset. And through him being upset, his pride got the best of him. Instead, he swore an oath that he would build the largest of all heavenly kingdoms. See the ignorance? See the Arc-Cyle ignorance? This is the false God. This is the false Ahura, claiming to be the one who inspires Zarathustra. Verse 20. Because of the great darkness of heaven and earth, God sent hope and promises into all the kingdoms, urging his Lord and his subgods to maintain faith, not only in themselves, but within the hearts of their respective inhabitants, meaning your people. Now, from the time of the succession of Ahura to the next dawn would be 300 years. And God knew this, though the multitude in heaven and earth knew it not. And God commanded great recreation and extensive labor in order to prevent further dismemberment. But in course of 100 years, many were carried away by the extravagant stories told about Ahura's kingdom, being places of great delight and of ease and idleness. See that? So true God trying to maintain to the rest of his people, but they're hearing about Ahura's kingdom over here, and they being persuaded. And then it stated that 300 years later is going to be the next harvest. The harvest is for you to ascend to the next grade. Whether if you're in the second heaven to go into the third heaven, if you're in the third heaven to go into the Etherian heavens. Being that this is true God, and if it's in his heaven, they're supposed to be getting ready to graduate into the Etherian heavens. And at the ending of that 300 years, they're supposed to do so. But they wasn't aware of that. What the verse say? What it say right here? He says what? To the next den would be 300 years. Huh? It'll be 300 years to the next den. And God knew this, though the multitude in heaven on earth knew it not. So these niggas didn't know they was about to graduate. That's like you in the 12th grade, 3 weeks to graduation, and you don't know it. And you go off and start fucking off at school, start dipping out, not knowing 3 weeks you're gonna graduate. That's what God is dealing with. So instead of niggas getting ready to graduate, they being hyped up about Ahura's heavenly kingdom and running over there. So verse 21 states, Ahura's Lord said unto him, Thou shalt adorn thy kingdom, thy throne, and thy capital. Selah shall be the largest and most ornamental of all places in the heavens, and our sub-kingdoms shall be place of great delight. And Ahura was persuaded, and so began self-glorification and his lords with him. See that? Huh? That's what's going on with this dude, yo. And this is supposed to be the one who pretended to be this guy. The true Zarathustra. The true Ahuru Mazda. Huh? The true Ahuru Mazda. Right here. When it states, this is the thus then are the Zarathustrian laws, the Ahuru Mazdian laws, which being interpreted into the English word should be described as the God's word. So this is the original God's word, being the words of Ahuru Mazda. God's word transcribed from the libraries of heaven by the will of Jehovah. So if you was to put this in the Ahuru tongue, or the Zarathustrian wordings, this would be Ahuru Mazda's words transcribed from the libraries of heaven by the will of Mazda. That's how it'll be read. But it gives it to us in English so we can understand. You see that? Ahuru Mazda said, "Oh, pure." And then Ahuru Mazda, what did Ahuru Mazda say? Zarathustra wrote, then spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure. First Mazda. Thus spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure. First Mazda. First the creator. But this guy is proclaiming to be the creator under the auspice of Ahuru Mazda. That's why you don't have that's why you don't have really Mazda in the Sanskrit. You have more Ahuru Mazda as being the creator deity. And that comes from this guy. See Tusk. Verse 22. And in another 100 years, the false Ahura had withdrawn and annexed unto him in heaven the following provinces with their subgods: Etsiva with 70 million souls, Hawa with 100 million souls, Hin with 20 million souls, the Nayato with 80 million souls, Irafavish with 190 million souls, the whole of the kingdom of Garaksha 600 million souls, the whole of the kingdom of Sufwa with 800 million souls. And all these confederate in the lower heavens, making the kingdom of Cetus with Ahura as Mazda in chief, the central kingdom. See that? The kingdom of Cetus with the false Ahura. Huh? See that? That's what's going on with this false god claiming to be Ahura. The diva was by this reduced to 7 members, but these remained faithful, and God kept up the standard of resurrection for yet 100 more years. And then Jehovah sent a region of Dan, a region of light, to heaven and earth. And the most high heavenly host descended in fire ships and took God and his harvest up to Jehovah. And with all the misfortune that befell God and his lords, there were nevertheless 6,000, basically 6 billion brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah. Huh? Raised up to the higher heavens. See that? So while Cetus supposed to be rising with God at this point, getting up out of there, but he decided to proclaim to be the all highest in the atmospheric region in the second heaven, not knowing he's supposed to be ascending with these cats. He's supposed to be ascending. How many ascended? What was the number again? Hold on. What was the number? 6 billion. See that? He's supposed to be part of that 6 billion souls ascending to the Etherian realms. But he decided to renounce Jehovah, lock himself in within the second heaven, proclaiming that second heaven is the all highest. See that? Verse 24. Now when the Etherian host came for the resurrection, knowing the darkness was upon the lower heavens and the earth, they sent Activane spaceships with heralds and trumpets around the earth, proclaiming the resurrection at hand, and asking all who choose to repair to Meroe and Haratai, and the word was whispered throughout Ahuru's kingdom. What then of a truth? There must be a higher heaven than this. See that? The Etherians came through shouting out, yo, if you want to rise, come with us. And then it said what? The whisper. It says the whisper throughout Ahuru's kingdom began. What then of a truth? There must be a higher heaven than this. Alice, had we been faithful till now, we had been brides and bridegrooms. So potent was this disaffection for Ahura that 5 of his lords broke membership and reaffiliated with God and his kingdom. Once these niggas realized that, yo, these niggas graduating and getting up out of here to the Etherian realms and we still here? Nah, yo, let's get up out of here. They figured it out. They put 2 and 2 together. But it was the Etherian angels that came with that message telling them, if you want to rise, come on. Verse 25, and thus the matter stood when God's successor came to the throne. So when God's successor came to the throne, that was the matter that he had to deal with. That next God who had to reign for the next 400 years. That's on his plate. That's on his time. You see that? So in the Oahspe, showing you the true succession of the gods during the time of Zarathustra. During the time of this time period of 1200 years after Zarathustra, this false god rose up. Now this is 1200 years after Zarathustra. But then, let's skip on down a couple more 100,000 years. Another false god rose up. Another false god rose up proclaiming to be Ahura. So you got a copycat after a copycat. And this is Kabbalistes. This is the book of Esther, chapter 22, and this is of Kabbalistes, the truant god of India and her heavens. It was this guy who have produced a text which we have the remnants of today. So from the time of Ahura during the time of Frag and Patty, Kabbalistes copycatted off of that cat. See, a copycat off a copycat. See that? This is his claim to fame. Kabbalistes said, since Vindia and her heavens are to be mine forever, I will take my own time and make a sure foundation. First then I will build me a heavenly city, Haraktu, above the mountains of Yama'alaga, 12 miles high, and the wings thereof shall spread out abroad as the land of India. So this is talking about he building his own heavenly kingdom. But let's scoot down to the meat of this thing. So he's built up his heavenly kingdom. After he built up his heavenly kingdom, this is his claim to fame. This is his claim to fame. Let me find a verse where he's going in. Look what he say right here. Hold up. Look at this. Look at this, how this verse is worded. But of all the foregoing assumed many false names, both on earth and in heaven, so that no history could reveal who they were, or by their names distinguish where their dominions laid. See that? Many of these names assumed to be false names. So Oahspe showing you how false gods taking on other false gods. So you just confused when you got the text in hand because you don't even know that these false gods did all this. Huh? So now check this. This is verse 12. Caballicti said, Caballicti has said unto his chiefs, behold, mortals have many favorite names for worship. Go ye down to the earth to Vindia and possess the temples of spirit communion, the oracle houses, and whatever places mortals come to worship in. And these places shall be yours. And to whatever Lord or God mortals most inclined to, bow down, take ye the name of that Lord or God. See how Caballicti is telling his followers to switch and take over mortal worship? Verse 14, for I will give this law unto you, that ye shall possess the land of India, not with new names, but with old. But with old. But all unto one end, which is the establishment of the true in Godhead. And Caballicti then made Piedmont commander-in-chief over his angel warriors and dispatched them down to the earth to India. See that? Angel warriors is coming to the earth to fuck with niggas. That's the purpose of these niggas. So now, verse 16. After this, Caballicti raised an army of 2,000 million angels to fight his heavenly battles. Over these he crowned Yataba, Lord in Chief. So he about to go to war for his doctrine. In addition to the heavenly attractions of war, Caballicti provided 6 groups of musicians of 500,000 to each group. So they got music going on. He also instituted times and places for tournaments, processions, and the display of great pageantry. He said, I will not only be powerful in might, but in power, but powerful in attraction, above all other gods. See that? Claiming to be, see that? They always claim to be all other gods, but check this. Now, even as hath been told of the wars of Luamung, even so, but in a different place, were the terrible conflicts in heaven of Caballicti, which were also manifested on the mortals of India. So it came to pass in a few hundred years that the country was but a land of ruins, but over it, in every direction, were hundreds of millions of angels in chaos, being the spirits of those slain in wars. See that? Caballicti said, now will I clear away the ruins and build my everlasting edifice on earth. So he done went to war, slew these spirits, he done cleared out, and now look what he states here. Behold, I will remodel the sacred books of mortals in my own way. In these signs will I rebuild the triangle representing the 3 lights, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. I will reestablish the bull as the sign of my power, and because my heavens are the all pure, the bull shall be white. The wheel, the juggernaut, shall be my road mark. These signs shall be given unto mortals, subjects to be theirs forever. Whosoever paradeth my sign shall know that they are my covenant which I have made unto mortals. Don't that sound like your God of the Bible? The God of the Bible made a covenant with you, but is that God of the Bible the creator? Because in this one he said, whosoever wears my sign, that's the sign. Whosoever parade my sign, they shall be known as they got my covenant. So now, verse 29, Kabbalistes then appointed 12,488 angels to go down to India to rewrite the sacred books of mortals. See that? So they're going to rewrite the books. And then he said, he crowned Gyananza, chief of the inspiring host, to write the 5 great books. 5 mortals had been previously chosen from before their birth by the guardian angels appointed for the purpose. Now it goes into the books. Now it goes into them cats. So I'm just dropping the point home, getting to the point how these things came about. So, the 5 cats are born. Skip 33. Then the angels chosen by Kabbalistes in heaven were sent to these mortals in infancy to guard them for the time of their birth upward. And the angels were divided into watches, sufficient to keep away all other angels to be with their mortal wards day and night, to converse with them in their dreams, to give them visions and good habits and virtue and truth and wisdom. All right, so here's the catcher. And it came to pass that when these mortals were grown up and the time came for their work, they were with their guardian spirits as one, knowing and comprehending the voice of their master Kabbalistes. Here's the catcher. Knowing, it said what? Knowing, comprehending the voice of their master Kabbalistes, who they were inspired to call Ahuru Mazda. See that? So now we got Kabbalistes guiding his followers, inspiring them to call Ahuru Mazda. There you go, fam. It's small, but let's pull it out right here. Boom. Right here. Kabbalistes, who they were inspired to call Ahuru Mazda, because this name was pleasing to mortals. See that? There you have it right there, family. So you got the false Ahuru Mazda, 1,200 years after Zarathustra, that false god. And then during the time of one, this now, keep in mind, let's go here right quick, because this Kabbalistes is the one, when we go back to Zarathustra, when we look him up in Google, and we see he's born 1000 BC, it is because of this right here. It's because of this Kabbalistes. It's because of this dude why you have 1000 BC. Kabbalistes, who they were inspired to call Ahura, because this was pleasing the mortals. It was during this time, because Kabbalistes was reigning during this time, 1000 BC. This is the time that Luamung, Kabbalistes, and Enochsai rose up on the scene. And Kabbalistes is the one who called himself Ahuru Mazda during this time. So the influence of the false Ahuru Mazda comes from 1000 BC, which we have today. And coming down, so we just read that Kabbalistes called himself Ahuru Mazda, or inspired the mortal wars to call him that. Now here's the catcher right here. Let's scroll down. Right in verse 42, look what it states. Thus was written the sacred books of India, the mutilated remains of which survive till this day. See, they call this shit mutilated remains, of which survive to this day. And copies of these books were written on cloth and on paper and on stone, some of which were carried in different directions over India. Huh? See that? Kabbalistes did this, assuming to be Ahuru Mazda, 1000 BC. Verse 43. In 87 years, Kabbalistes completed the sacred books and disbanded the inspiring hosts. Huh? So far, Kabbalistes had destroyed 9 million men, women, and children in wars. He had also destroyed 4,000 heathen temples and more than 300 cities. And he suppressed over 2,000 languages. Banished 6,200 of false gods. So Kabbalistes did all this inspiring humans. And look what it states in verse 45. Here's the catcher. He also commanded all languages to be hereafter made out of the Vedic, Yeha, and Zend, from which Sanskrit descends to this day. See that? Zend, Sanskrit. That's what we're dealing with here, family. Which descend to this day. So the reference that we have of Zarathustra, the reference we have of Ahuru Mazda comes from this time of Kabbalistes, which coincide with the time period of Zarathustra here that they have. 1000 BC. You know, Zarathustra was an Aisu. He ain't had no damn children. But look how they look what they did. Look what they did to Zarathustra. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, yo. So I'm showing you how the false god assumes. So let me show you. Let me highlight the verse once again. Let me highlight that verse where he assumed to be. I said, imagine that, yo. So it's right here where it states Kabbalistes. So right here, Kabbalistes, who they were inspired to call Ahuru Mazda, because this name was pleasing to mortals. And then we go to the Book of Divinity. We come back to 10. Stroll up. And what do we have here? Let's get it. God sent messengers to Cetus who had assumed the name Ahuru Mazda. See that? So we got Cetus over here assuming to be the name Ahuru Mazda. Then you got Kabbalistes inspiring to call these people Ahuru Mazda because it was a name pleasing to mortals. It was a name pleasing to mortals because before Cetus had the word. So you got Kabbalistes, Cetus, and then the original Zarathustra. Then spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure. See that? But then after Zarathustra came, God sent message to Cetus who assumed the name Zarathustra, who assumed the name Ahuru Mazda. Then a couple thousand years later, Kabbalistes, who they were inspired to call Ahuru Mazda because the name was made pleasing to mortals. So there's the clearing up of Zarathustra and the concept of Ahuru Mazda, God, and Oahspe. Because if you notice, the false god didn't use Oahspe. They just used the term Ahuru Mazda to claim. So that's the equivalent of saying God. That's the equivalent of making God the creator. Because the creator is Oahspe, as we state here. Because see, Oahspe, Zarathustra wrote, then spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure, first Oahspe. Now, when Cetus proclaimed himself, he assumed the name Ahuru Mazda, making himself the all highest. He didn't call on Oahspe. He didn't call on Oahspe, huh? Like right here, coming back up here, and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura up here. Let's get it, huh? He renounced Jehovah, the Creator. See that? He renounced Jehovah, the Creator, and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura. See that? That's what he did, huh? He said, see, in the East Colony, one, Cetus, a former lord. See that? He named his kingdom after himself. It says of Jehovah, he renounced Jehovah, the Creator, and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura, the Master Light. But who was the Master Light? The Master Light is Oahspe right here, beloved. Huh? Zarathustra wrote, then spoke Ahuru Mazda to Zarathustra, the all pure. First Oahspe. Huh? First Oahspe. Was, and he created all things. He was all, he is all, and was all round. So they right here just showing you that Oahspe is the all in all. But here, this nigga, what? Renounced Jehovah, the Creator, and falsely proclaimed himself Ahura, the All Master. So they cut out Oahspe and made Ahura the All Master. That's why you have in a lot of Sanskrit texts Oahspe as the Most High. Let's get it. Let's see. Let's see if that's right and exact. Let's see if that's right and exact. So they took. See, these jokers is wicked, Joe. So when we look up Ahura, that's the Ahura. We got him as Lord. So they got Ahura as Lord. We go into the etymology of all that, but there you have the Ahura. He's classified as a Lord. And according to different texts, of course, they got different Ahuru Mazda. See that? Look what they got on Ahuru Mazda. Ahuru Mazda, also known as Ormaz. See, they mixed it up. The same way they mixed God and Jehovah up, they did the same thing with this doctrine here. They did the same thing. They turned Ahuru Mazda, also known as Ormaz. But when we come to the book of God's word, it says, Zarathustra wrote, then spoke Ahuru to Zarathustra, the all pure, first Ormaz. And he created all things. Ormaz is separating himself from Orba. Ahuru Mazda is separating himself from Ormaz by saying that to Zarathustra. By saying that, yo, Zarathustra, I'm not the most high. Ormaz is. He created all things. But when we go to the Wikipedia, the Zarathustra, the Ahuru Mazda in here, it states Ahuru Mazda, also known as Ormaz. So this is showing you that the corruption, we've seen the corruption with just this alone. And it says Ormaz, Ahuru Mazda, is what? A creator deity. You know we don't deal with no deities. So they deified Ormaz. Because they said Ormaz here, they said Ahura, well, also known as Ormaz. And then they say he's a created deity. A deity. He is the first, it says he is the first and most frequently invoked spirit in the Yasna. The literal meaning of the word Ahura is Lord. See that? And Mazda is wisdom. See that? The first notable invocation of Ahura Mazda occurred during the Akkadian period, I ain't pronounced that right, 550-350 BC. This is during the time of Kabbalistes right here. That's during the time of Kabbalistes all day. So you see, they're giving you the time period by giving you the BC. That's why it's beautiful to have this timeline that we have in Oahspe, showing you when these gods was reigning. So this time period that they say that it is first notable in the invocation is 550 BC, the time of Kabbalistes. Yeah, yo. We got this. So I'm just showing you that the original Zarathustrian doctrine showed that it was the Zarathustrian doctrine, it was the Zarathustrian law, the Ormazdian law, and the Creator's law. Ormazd. See. Yeah, yo, we going in on this. I ain't even checked the chat yet. I'm just going in. I'll talk about Ormazd. Going in. I'm just trying to find out one verse right quick. These are the thy shall. These are like your commandments. See that? Thou shalt not kill what the Creator created alive. Ain't nothing changed. Same thing in the Nazarene law. Thou shalt keep the 4 moon days. They are the changes of watch of the gods and angels over men. The 4 moon days that they're talking about, these 4 moon days, is the Shabbat, the 4 quarter Shabbat. Thou shalt covenant thyself to thy Creator every day and teach thy children to do so also. See that? Thou shalt not bow down in reverence except to Ormazd thy Creator. See that? Not a creator deity, but just the Creator. See, they always add the deity to the Creator, and that's where they mess things up. That's what these false gods did. Thou shalt love thy father next to thy Creator, and obey his voice, and honor thy mother, because she brought thee forth by the will of thy Creator. See that? This is Zarathustrian doctrine right here. We read it. Thou shalt not suffer thy desires to lead thee after woman. Thou shalt not take that which is another's. You hear these doctrines. These all come from Zarathustra, which predates the Mosaic doctrine. Thou shalt not be vain, for nothing is thine. Thou shalt not speak untruth. Thou shalt not take thy neighbor's, behold. Hold up. Thou shalt not talk of thy neighbor behind his back, for Ormazd heareth and hearest thee. And the angels will go tell thy neighbor's soul what thou hast said. You ever had a feeling somebody spoke about you and you was like, damn, I know this nigga saying something about me. What did the angels say? The angels will go to thee, will go tell thy neighbor's soul what thou hast said. So don't think you getting away with some shit when you keeping it behind somebody. Your guardian angel, if you out of place, will go tell his guardian angel, like, inspire that man that this nigga talking about him. Although he don't know, we're going to show this nigga wisdom. So now, verse 25. Thou shalt not be idle and lazy, or thy flesh will become weak, and bear down thy soul. Thou shalt not envy nor harbor hatred against any man, woman, or child. Didn't that the scripture say in your Bible? Abhor not an Edomite, for he is thy brother. You see what I'm saying? In this Zarathustrian law, ain't nothing evil spoken about yet. It says, yo, show respect to all people, no hatred. Thou shalt not reprove any man or woman for their evil, for they are the creators. Thou shalt not reprove thy own child and teach him the right way. Thou shalt reprove thy own child and teach him the right way. Thou shalt not lie with thy life during pregnancy. Thou shalt not lie with thy wife during pregnancy. Thou shalt not take to wife any of thy kin except beyond the 5th generation. Thou shalt not take to wife a woman of unclean habits. Thou shalt not commit the self habits. Thou shalt not desire thy neighbor more than was thou. Thou shalt fast 1 day of the 4th moon all thy life, neither eating fish, nor flesh, nor bread, nor fruit, nor anything but water shall enter thy mouth. So you're supposed to fast on one of those Shabbats with nothing to eat. Purity. 1 whole year of thy life shall thou dwell with the poor, live with the poor, sleep with the poor, begging for alms for the poor. Look at that. Who going to do that? This is the Zarathustrian doctrine we're dealing with here now. We back to the original doctrine. Ahuru Mazda said unto Zarathustra, the all pure, three castes have I made. The first are the Ions, the sacred, above all other people, because they keep my commandments. The second, the Ahuans, more powerful created I them than other people. And those are the copper-colored people. Because by them I will subdue the earth. And third, the drunks, the evil people, who will not learn. And you got niggas out here that do not want to learn. Try to tell them the truth, try to speak the doctrine, try to show them brotherly love, and they still want to practice evil. And that's in all nationalities. So these are the words of Zarathustra. And look what it said here. Where that? Right here. Then Zarathustra, the all pure, stooped down and kissed the book after he wrote all this shit, saying, this is the holy book, O Ahuru Mazda. I take it and I will go into all the world, teaching it and explaining it. This was complete, the first sacred, most holy book created for mortals. See that? It said this is the first sacred, most holy book created for mortals. Before the Tanakh, you had the Zarathustrian laws. And Zarathustra rose up from his writing, tall and handsome, inquiring of Ahuru Mazda, saying, whither shall I go first, O master? He's like, all right, after we done what we doing, where we headed with it? Then answered Ahuru Mazda, creator of the Oahspe law, the Zarathustrian law, saying, take my holy book, the Oahspe law, the Zarathustrian law, first to Asha, the king of the Ahuans, king of Oahspe, the city of the sun. Him have I prepared for thee and thy work since the day of thy birth, of the day of his birth, since the day of thy birth. I spoke to him in thy infancy. See that? Your life been playing out beforehand, but check it. Verse 11. Then went forth Zarathustra, strong in faith, and he came to Asha the king. And the king said unto him, thou hast tarried so long, behold, I have cast the horoscope 100 times, 1,000 times. I have proved all the stars in heaven, and named them, and made maps of them. And I measured the powers of one star over another star, and the powers of the stars of this world, and the powers of the sun and moon. Yeah, I have sent into the great cities of the east to men of great learning, and to the south northwest to men of great learning. And then I sent to the kings of Japheth and Shem, to Balganga, to Bingda, and to the great city, Hung Sin, where the great philosopher, Atong, liveth, and from all of these I have attained great wisdom. Check this. Hear me then, O Zarathustra, I will speak to thee as if thy philosophy were true, but yet I believe it not. First, then, all the stars there is nothing but lies. Neither matters it if a man be born under the star, under this star or that star. So he's basically saying, yo, that zodiac shit is some bullshit. I don't care if you were Libra, I don't care if you were Aquarius. You're like, nigga, that shit bullshit. That's what he's basically saying. I am old now, and I have observed thousands of men, kings and queens, as to whether the stars rule over them, and I declare unto thee that the philosophy of the stars is nothing but lies. I have searched in my own self, and I find I am often doing things contrary to my first intentions, but as to the cause I know not. So that's just Zarathustra coming to the king, and they having a quick conversation or whatever. And then he gives him the book. You know what I mean? He says, then Zarathustra saying, through my hands hath Ahuru Mazda written a most holy book, explaining many philosophies. This book have I brought unto thee according to the commandments of thy God. Read thou it. So that's how the original Ahuru Mazdian, or Maz through Ahuru Mazda through Zarathustra came about. The story shows that the doctrine hit the earth in a book. And after that is when the false god, this guy, who renounced Jehovah and proclaimed to be the creator, and falsely proclaimed to be the creator, the all highest. So the Zarathustrian doctrine was already laid out on the earth by the time, this is 1200 years after Zarathustra, when this false Ahura decided to come up on the scene. And then, after that, a couple thousand years later, you got this guy coming on the scene, Kabbalistes, inspiring to call Ahuru Mazda. See that? So that's just to show you that by the time you get to this now, when the time you get to actual Zarathustra, and they telling you that he was born 1000 BC, know for a fact that you're not dealing with the original Zarathustra. You're dealing with the carbon copy of a carbon copy. That's what we got today. You dig? It's a vibes. Yes, family. Lodge up yourself. But that's how we moving on this, man. That's to show you how potent the Oahspe is. To show you that, nigga, we could go away from the Hebraic customs and cultures, and nigga, we could go to Zarathustraism and deal with Zarathustra the same way we would deal with the Hebrew text. Showing you the inconsistencies, showing you how false gods, assuming to be certain gods, all that. All that, family. So let's bring up the music. Yeah? We just had another class, this one on Zarathustraism, which Malak, if you wanted to touch on, but I couldn't make it, so I just wanted to do a quick touch on the show in the Oahspe that it has the original Zarathustra, holy and pure, who was inspired by Mazda, the creator, through Ahuru Mazda, true God. And then we talked about 1200 years later that a false god rose up, styling himself to be Ahuru Mazda, the all highest. He cut off Mazda. And then thousands of years later, you have Kabbalistes inspiring his writers that he was Ahuru Mazda. And then they rewrote the sacred text, which is what we have today, as the Oahspe explained. You see that, family? It's a vibes. Yes, all the faithists receive the same teachings. This one universal teaching is coming from the Creator. So if your prophet or your God telling you to kill men, sacrificing animals as a token to your God, you gotta question it. It's a vibes. That's right. They all following the Zarathustra. So Zarathustra, then after Zarathustra came Abraham, Brahma, You know what I mean? Hiawatha and Po. Then after them came Moshe, came Capilia, and came Chini. So when Zarathustra set the tone, he first came with the first holy book. When Abraham came on the scene, they reestablished some of the Zarathustrian ways. Huh? If it's coming from the light of the Creator, and if it's one universal order, that means Abraham just reinstored the Zarathustrian law. Thou shalt not kill. You know what I mean? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Worship the Creator only. No Lord gods and saviors. Huh? Zarathustra came with that. Then Moses reinstalled it. Then, Abraham reinstalled it. Then Moses reinstalled what Abraham. Moses reinstalled what Abraham said. Yes, family, because it survives. Let's see if I can find that. With Moshe. Man. It's a vibes. It survives, yes, family. My sexy wife, them. It survives. Yes, Fraser, it's a copy and paste thing. You have the original, then you got the copy, then you got the carbon copy. That's what's been going on. Just like Osiris. Osiris was deified as a savior. Then after Osiris, they created Serapis, and he was deified as the first savior for the Greeks. And then after Serapis, we had Jesus, or Isus, and he was deified as savior. So you have the original, then you got the carbon copy, you got the copy, and then the carbon copy. Just exposed the false gods of Persia in Oahspe. Clip up. You already know, King. So here's Malachi. So that's what I just went through, just to show you that although the Isaiah Gospels mention Zarathustra, I wanted to show you how Zarathustra started off original and how these false gods assumed to be Ahuru Mazda, who was the inspiring god over Zarathustra. So some of the sayings that we may see in the Sanskrits, which are the works of Kabbalistes, could be well from them. You know, and keep in mind they selected from previous text. So there will be some validity in the text, but then the overall agenda may be worshiping Ahuru Mazda, who is supposed to be the all highest, the Lord. But we know that in the Oahspe, Maz is the creator, and Ahuru Mazda is just the Lord. He's a God, and then God can be classified as a Lord as well. So that's the beautiful thing about Oahspe. It gives us these scenarios to play with, these variables. It just don't give us one side. It gave us three sides. I just went through three sides. I went through Zarathustra, the Ahuru Mazda, the original. Then I went to Cetus, assuming to be Ahuru Mazda. Then I went to Kabbalistes, assuming to be Ahuru Mazda. You see that? Look at the confusion in that. And then you have the Sanskrit text talking about Ahuru Mazda, not knowing that these copycats did that. It's a vibes. Yes, family, truly amazing. You don't know the works of Jaja. This is a crying shame. It's deep, King. This is the God spell. Now you understand what the God spell is about. This is how deep the spell is. Nigga, we sleep. The God spell had niggas put to sleep for 6,000 years. Or we can't even put a full cap of 6,000. Since 3761 BC is when we've been bamboozled by the false gods. Yeah, the Essenes followed the same teachings as Zarathustra. Indeed, purity. They deal with purity. That's the number one thing, purity of diet. We just read in the Zarathustra doctrine how Mother Earth. You see what I'm saying? So it's father and mother, showing you the correlation. That's Zarathustra. Because the Hebrew doctrine don't teach about Mother Earth and Father Heaven and things of that nature. They don't show you that duality of mother and father, the masculine and the feminine. But we just read in Zarathustra. We just read about the earth, the virgin. It says, no, that's on Google. It say, no, you can't go by Google. You got to go by what the Oahspe say. You got to read what the books say. The books say God is a title bestowed on an angel, and the gods can be male or female in rulership. Just like you have a man, a king ruling, and then you have a queen ruling. You see what I'm saying? That's how that works. Now, you got to understand the Oahspe, beloved. Because what you're going to do is you're going to mix in deity worship with the creator. So now you're going to say that, because you say, but it's Father God. See what I'm saying? The Father's the creator. The Mother's the creator. See that? It's only one creator expressing functions in a positive and negative charge. That's how creation comes about, through positive and negative. But these positive and negative charges are not a man and woman, but are forces of vortexian current, which is the power and force of the Creator, the One, expressing duality in creation, the seen and unseen. So you got to get you an Oahspe to really understand, so you don't get confused with deity worship mixing up with creation. Because it's a vibe, and that's what the Egyptians did. They did the same thing. If you look at the Egyptian creation myth, you got Geb. Geb's supposed to be the earth, but he's a deity. See that? They mix deity worship or deity with creation, and then confusion comes in. Because the Egyptians describe earth as a man, as Geb. Let me pull it up. And then we describe the earth as mother earth. We don't say Father Earth, but the Egyptians, Geb, is the earth. See, right here, let me show you, family. This is why I say you gotta get you Oahspe, because the false gods left niggas confused badly. It's a vibe, so check it. See what it say right here. Geb, in ancient Egyptian religion, the god of the earth. See? We don't call a man earth. We call the earth woman, Mother Earth. But in ancient Egyptian philosophy, this Egyptian deity called Geb is reference to the earth. And this is his depiction right here. This is the earth. A man. See, they deified these deities in aspects of creator. So like you say right there, Geb. an ancient Egyptian religion, the god of the earth. He's supposed to be the earth. They got pictures of him. There you go, him laying on his belly. This is the famous depiction right here. See, that's Geb laying on his belly, supposed to be the earth. This is Nu, supposed to be the cosmos. You see what I'm saying? This is the ancient Egyptian cosmological concept using deities deifying creation. But that's dangerous because now these deities become worshipful for the ignorance who don't know better. You dig? So that's that, my brother. It's a vibes, vibes, vibes. No doubt, no doubt. It's always good to have Q&A questions to clear things up. I've been wondering about that because I've been reading about the Essenes. Yes, You said what? I have to admit that false god Gabriel, I admire him because he was so fearless of being cast in hell. Yeah. Jabril was a real warrior. He a real soldier. That's why Islam is so effective and so powerful. And them niggas are so fearless because they carry on the characteristics of their god. Jabril was fearless. He was warrior. He was cunning. That's why you got Muslims that'll strap bombs to their body and blow shit up, because them niggas is moving with that spirit like Jabril had. And Luamung is moving with the spirits. Like, look at the Christian spirit between the Muslim spirit. The Muslims, them niggas is warriors. They ready to go to war. But the Christians is more softer and watered down. So that shows you the characteristics of Jabril and Luamung through their worshippers. Jabril was a warrior angel. He was a general of the earth. You dig? Yes, she rule. Cause it's a vibes. Yes, family, we vibing out. You know how we do. Selah, Shalom, chiming in. We went in on the calendar. We went in on Zarathustra, the inspiring God of Zarathustra being Ahuru Mazda, and creator Mazda, showing you the difference. Cause it's a vibe, just 3 hours in, family. We're gonna go ahead and chime out. I just wanted to get on and continue the God spell, showing you the spell that these gods have under the people. We see the spell that we are up under the calendar. We see the spell of these false gods, assuming to be ancient ones, claiming to be the all highest. It's a vibes. Resting spells. You see that? Book of Fragment Patty, chapter 2. What? Chapter 2, verse what, sis? Book of Fragment Patty, chapter 2, verse what? Wrapped around these spells. I should have that highlighted. It's a vibes. 27. Yes, family. The sister just brought out Book of Fragment Patty, chapter 2, verse 27. Fragment Patty said, "It is well in the time of the next dawn of light on earth. I will take a resting spell in which to fulfill Jehovah's plan on earth and in their heavens." So saluting Ativat, who retired. Fragment Patty proceeded with his counsel in the affairs of other worlds. Yeah, so that's a resting, like coming to the earth. That's like a rest for these niggas to meet therapists. For the labor that they got going on in therapy to come do this is like, that's like leaving your job, going to pick up your child from the daycare. That's like a resting spell. All right, shit, let me go got to do this, pull up, boom, 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 pick up the child and take her home and whatever the case may be. You dig? Cause it's a vibes. Yes, family. Like I say, we've been vibing out 3 hours now, you know what I mean? Y'all can go back and look at this lesson. Part 3, the God spell. Breaking the spells. Let me see if this index got spelled. Let's see something real quick. You know what I mean? Cause it's a vibes. Yes, family. So as we move forward, we're going to continue with the words of Jehovah. Until then, peace and blessings to the family. Your boy Selah, Shalom, channel out. Create a gang. And we out. Cause it's a vibes. Let's move out into the cosmos with it, family. Let's go. It's a vibes. To answer your question, Irish, Ashtaroth has no influence at this point. There will be other deities that will rise up and assume to be false ones of old, being copycats, and so the saga continues. Peace, family. It's a vibes.